There we go. Alright, so talking about this. Oh, this isn't straight. That's gonna piss me the fuck. How do I fix this? This way. I don't know what's straight now. Wait, that's not straight either. Maybe it was straight. That's straight? That's straight. Ah. Okay. Went live too quick, didn't check my camera setup. There we go. Oh, it's not hanging. I was like, what the fuck? But I got shit hanging up there. Okay. We're good. Doing good. Okay, hop in here. There we go. Okay, we're good. We're just hanging out. How's it going? I don't know if Evan Swan's in here. If you are, how's it going? Okay. Looking at stuff for a second until I can pull. Okay, I'm gonna pull up this one. That was the one I was reading earlier. Government. These seem pretty good. We're gonna go through these two articles quickly, and then we're gonna try to find the actual bill. Oh, I don't care. Do we know what the bill is called? Wow, that's a little brighter than I. There we go. A little less intense brightness. There we go. That's a little better. Okay, we need to find the actual bill, because I was reading this article earlier, but no one. Why does no one even write the fucking bill that's being passed? Oh, wait. Human Life Protection Act. Tennessee Human Life Protection Act. That one. In before a bill only bans bill from getting an abortion of one person. Oh. Okay, these are all news sites. Does anyone have a link to the actual bill? Why does no one ever link the bill? I just want to find the actual, like... Why does no one put that out? Bill 1257. There we go. Is this it? This is it. Yay. We found it. Okay. Zoom. This actually be known as... We're gonna read the intro to this, and then we're gonna go through a couple of the articles to see what people's analysis on this are, and then we'll probably finish reading it, and then we'll discuss it. That'll be the order of events for tonight. And then we'll talk about the Queen stuff, and I'll see if... I think my friends will definitely want to come in, because the discourse around the Queen, some people are very happy, some people are neutral, like, I don't care, and then some people are very sad. And there's a lot of discussion about what is the right reaction online. It's not good. This is bugging the fuck out of me. Can I get those out of frame just by doing this? Oh no, I fucked it all. Okay, wait. There. Now it's, nope. Now it's straight. Nope, straight. Oh, this is gonna bug the fuck out of me. There. Nope. It's still not straight. It's just never gonna be straight. Oh my god, why is this thing so hard to control? It's definitely not straight still, but this is the best we're gonna get. And that thing is still in the background by this much. Okay, that's fine. Damn, that's also my dad's reaction. My dad is really annoyed because literally nothing else is on TV right now. My dad's like, every fucking news station I go to is just, everything is about the Queen. My dad is pissed. My dad is not a fan of the monarch. Obviously none of us are. But my dad especially is like, I hate this shit. My dad's so pissed. Long live the Queen. Wait, sorry, I was behind in chat by a few days. Oh, you guys are funny. Okay, so the new Tennessee trigger law. I don't know if anyone has heard about this. I saw it randomly pop up my Twitter timeline, and I was like, "This can't be real." So we're gonna read through it and find out if it bans as much as it says it does, because everyone's claiming that this bill bans, except this bill basically bans abortion and then gets rid of exceptions for rape, incest, and also gets rid of exceptions for saving the mother's life. From what I've seen, though, is it's not directly like you can't do it. It just means you can be held legally liable for saving a mother's life, and you have to. The burden of proof is on the doctor to prove that they did have to save the mother's life, and instead of having like the other person who's suing say like, or like the prosecution prove that they did something wrong, right? Like the burden of proof is reversed in this case, which is super weird because that's not a very common thing that you do where you have to reverse burden of proof. But we're gonna read through. We're gonna find out if any of that's true. So, why is this so fucking loud? There we go. So let's see. I don't care about any of the preamble. Tennessee Code annotated Title 39, blah, 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 as used in the section abortion means the use of any instrument medicine. Okay, these are all just the definitions sections at the beginning of a law. Always there. Help you read the law and make sure that you understand what each word in the law means, what it refers to. That's good. At least this one actually has a definition section, because I remember, I think it was the Florida bill. I think it was the Florida trans bill that had like no definitions in the beginning of the section, and I was like, this is the worst written bill I've ever seen in my life, because I think there's like 2 definitions, but they didn't pertain to like anything serious in the bill. That bill was awfully written, terribly written. What a hot steaming pile of garbage bill was. But anyway, back to this. Because at least they actually put definitions at the beginning of this bill, so it's good. Keep abortion, my boy. Moloch Hang. What? Oh, what up, guys? Oh, I remember you. Okay. Hi, how's it going? Tennessee will be fine as long as they don't ban abortions for incest-based relationship, or is that Alabama? Oh no, this one bans. This one has like no exceptions. That was the whole thing with this bill. This bill has no exceptions for rape, incest, or saving the mother's life. Supposedly. I know the rape and incest one I think are confirmed. But saving the mother's life is a little bit more complicated and how that works out. I know it's been a long time. I remember names. I see like certain names I like remember. But you got a cool name, so I remember you. Let's see. It's an affirmative defense to the prosecution under subsection B, which must be proven by preponderance of the evidence that the abortion was performed or attempted by a licensed physician. The physician determined in the physician's good faith medical judgment, based upon the facts known to the physician at the time, that the abortion was necessary to prevent the death of a pregnant woman or to prevent serious risk of substantial and irreversible impairment of major bodily function of the pregnant woman. No abortion shall be deemed authorized under the subdivision C2, is that C2, if performed on the basis of a claim or a diagnosis that the woman will engage in conduct that would result in her death or substantial and irreversible impairment of a major bodily function, or for any reason relating to her mental health. And okay, that's right from the get-go. That doesn't sound great. Oh, what did you? How's it going? It's also been a while since you've been in here. You know what? At least it's consistent with anti-abortion philosophy. Kind of true, but still, well, no, because anti-abortion philosophy would still be like, if you're pro-life, you would want to save as many lives as possible. But in this case, if they're not making exceptions to save the life of the mother, then it seems like this would even go against most pro-abortion or anti-abortion people. That's why it's so confusing. So this is the part that's really contentious, and I'm gonna have to read this like 6 times, mostly because I'm stupid. But like, also, it's not just me, but like, laws are always written like the most complex way. Can we not just write laws in ways that like the general like, I'm pretty smart. I know how to read legal stuff decently well, but sometimes I'll read laws and I'm like, this was like the worst way you could have written this to make it the most complicated and that nobody understands. Okay, it is an affirmative defense to prosecution under subsection B, which must be proven by preponderance of the evidence that the abortion was performed or attempted to be licensed. Wait, a person who performs or attempts to perform abortion commits the offense of a criminal abortion. Okay, so this is a Class C felony. It's an affirmative defense, so it's a defense if It was attempted by a licensed physician. The physician determined in the physician's good faith medical judgment, based upon the facts known to the physician at the time, that the abortion was necessary to prevent the death of the pregnant woman or to prevent serious risks of substantial irreversible. So it looks like you would actually have to create a defense against this. It's not like someone has to like, so you could automatically be held criminally liable or like criminally, you could be criminally charged for like performing the abortion, and then you would have to use a defense shown in this law to say that no, I didn't commit an illegal act, which seems a little bit weird. Wait, like, I get it now. So this is just like the defense is like you have to go into court and prove that you did this in like good faith medical judgment. But if you're accusing someone of something, shouldn't you have to prove that they did something in bad faith? Like if you're accusing this person of like administering an abortion, and then you're trying to like criminally charge them, don't you have to like, to put that charge down, shouldn't you have to say like, we have evidence that like you did this in bad faith, and then the person could try to like respond back? But to like just be able to like automatically just assume that this was done in bad faith and now this is the defense for it, that's what it seems like to me. And I don't know if I like that. Hi Magikarp, how's it going? Save the life of the mother is deaf weird. If that's actually it, the lack of a, oh yeah, well that's why everyone has such a problem with this. Like it is the most strict abortion law now on the books because it passed as of August 25th, I believe. This is now officially actually on the books in Tennessee. It's been forever since I was able to catch your stream. How you doing, Queen? Oh, thank you. I'm good. My hair still looks the same color on stream, which is super annoying, but I'm like dark ginger now. It's gonna fade out to a lighter ginger, and I'm gonna buy some more orange dye to make it a little bit more orange, but IRL, this looks kind of ginger, but in stream, it looks literally the same color it was last week, because it's a very red ginger, so. I bleached my hair again, because I was bored. So it's similar to self-defense, like you killed this, but you had to. Yeah, but in that case, like, yeah, pretty much, it's the same thing. But in that case, like, you would have evidence that this person, like, acted in a certain way. Whereas, like, because abortion is, like, a medical procedure, it seems really, well, I guess in the States it's not considered a medical procedure, is it? Wait, oh, I'm trying to think. Because abortion is, like, a legal thing in the States, that's why, like, Canada doesn't have laws around abortion, because, like, ours is all, like, encompassed in the medical system and not the legal system. So maybe I'm just a little confused. It just seems really weird to like have it automatically assume that any physician who performs an abortion is doing something criminal, and you could take them to court and then they would have to use this defense to prove that they didn't do anything criminally wrong. Instead of saying, we have evidence that you did something criminally wrong and now you have to prove against that. It's like I don't think you need any substantial evidence to like charge someone under this wording. I could be wrong. Obviously I'm not a legal expert. I always say this on my streams. Not a legal expert. I'm a undergrad doing criminology, so take everything I say with a grain of salt. That's what it seems like. I just think people should be aware of these things. But this is a crazy law to pass no matter what, because I think even any abortion bill that doesn't like leave exceptions for like incest and rape seem really shitty to me. It's a prejudgment. Wait, what's a prejudgment? Oh, I'm so confused. I missed something. Is this not? I thought this got passed. I heard this got passed. Wait, we'll go through it. The administration of the abortion in the first place is what's criminalized. Therefore, any exception to that would be an affirmative defense. No? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, but it's like we're saying this is automatically criminalized, and instead of saying like, because if you put an exception in the law, then that means that act because of that exception wouldn't be criminalized. Whereas here, I think it's being criminalized no matter what. But then they're giving you an affirmative defense. And you would have to prove that in court under that affirmative defense. Like, all killing is legal except in self-defense. Yeah, but self-defense is like a legal defense. It's not an exception to like our law. Does that make sense? I think they're slightly different. I think like an exception in a law is different than like a defense you can use to a law. I think they're different. I think they're slightly different. But maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong on that. But I think the way like they're incorporated into our laws, I think is different if it's in those two different categories. gotta message somebody quickly. Oops. I might have a friend come on while we're doing the queen discussion because I think it's kind of funny. From our normal human being perspective, yeah, but if you equate abortion to murder, this is how you'd write it, I guess. That's probably true, I guess, because you wouldn't write like an exception for murder, you would write a defense for murder. But it just seems like it's a very different circumstance, because like murder, unless you're talking about like, oh, unless you're in Cali, then just realize the courts are pro-criminal and you're screwed. Wait, what? Pro-criminal or like pro-crime? Wait, what? I don't know what that means. I'll try and be more clear. Anyway, let's go through, not that. Let's go through this article. This is from, oh, it's a Tennessean. It's from Tennessee. Also, there's only a few people in here, but where is like most of my chat right now fall on the abortion argument? I don't know how to set up, oh, wait, I can set up polls on here, can't I? There's not enough people to set up a poll. I want to learn how to do polls on here so I can, like, when we have more people in, I can, like, do polls on, like, what people's general opinion. Because I feel like I have, like, mostly center-right people, but then I have, like, a few more right-leaning people, like conservatives, and then I have, like, a handful of, like, center, left-leaning people. But I feel like most of my people fall center-left to center-right. And then I have, like, a few more, like, conservatives, but I don't think I have anyone far-right in my community, just because they get mad at me too quick. But I just want to, ask, like, where everyone else stands. Because, like, obviously this is a really, really extreme bill. And even, I think it's the most intense bill in the States on abortion. So, let's see. All right. Oh, God. As a Moloch would say, abortion must be protected at all costs. I don't know who Moloch is. I should look that up. All abortions are justified. Have many abortions you want. Oh, God. Oh, Wolf Skeptic. Okay, again, abortion is not murder, like, by any definition. You can say whatever you want about it, but it's not, like, by any definition. Because for it to be murder, you'd have to prove that the fetus is a child. And by, like, there's, I mean, unless you're better at philosophy than me, I've gone through, like, so many philosophical, like, papers arguing abortion. I had a whole class on it. And I have never seen a good argument for why a fetus should be considered like a human being with moral consideration of a human being. I thought you were being, wait, are you not being, I thought you were being sarcastic, my bad. Even if it was, oh, sorry. Okay, my bad, I read that wrong. I'm about to argue with this fool. Oh no. My chat's always arguing with each other. Who was on my Discord last week that was going back? There was 2 people on my Discord who, like, y'all were going at each other for, like, an hour. It was crazy. I like when my chat fights with each other instead of me, though. It's kind of fun to watch. Where I stand on abortion isn't popular. Yes, allow, and yes, still murder morally. Why is it murder? I've never understood. I can, like, see how it's, like, morally wrong and it's like, oh, it's still, like, ending a life. But calling it murder feels, like, extreme. Like, it just feels like morally loaded language to, like, try to make a point. You sound like... I don't know what the Moloch thing is. I don't know what the Moloch thing is. That's the whole debate, though. When is it a person? Every stream you misread what I say. Look, I'm not dyslexic, but I'm a little stupid. Shut up. I try my best, okay? I'm reading fast, and, like, when you have a sarcastic tone, I just assume that, like, you mean the opposite of what, like, your messages are highly sarcastic. No, not you, Wolf. It was Emzeron and one of my other followers, Preacher, fought in my Discord for, like, a couple hours after last stream. It was good, though. They debated back and forth for a long time, but they were good. It was just really interesting. Actually, if you are on my Discord, that was actually an interesting, like, conversation to watch, go back and forth if anyone wants to go read it. Let's see. That's my belief in my opinion, I'm not changing it, but people should have the freedom to do as they will with their bodies. No, I agree, but like I just want to know why you think it's murder. Like morally, why would it be murder? What justification do you have? Like, what is like the reason that you would consider like an abortion murder? Because in my head, I'm like, murder is like the ending of a human life, like someone with moral consideration, right? Like that's typically how like the word murder. Like we don't use murder. You don't murder a pig because like you kill a pig, because like murder is usually specifically kept for human like human beings, right? Full human beings. But if like if you it, like fetuses don't really get the same moral consideration as a full human being, so to call it murder to me seems a little bit like it feels like very morally loaded language to make a point. That's why like, and I'm not saying you're trying to do that because obviously you're very like neutral on the like actual like having like laws around abortion, but a lot of people who use like, oh, abortion is murder will do it because it's a morally loaded term rather than because they actually like are trying to like um they're just trying to morally load the statement and try to make like they're trying to like invoke some type of emotion in the people hearing it rather than actually trying to make an argument that like has any substance. But that's just me. Also, if a fetus has a form of a personhood, then it's, well, not murder in the legal sense, but murder in the moral sense. Well, then it would be, no, it'd be, not, it would also be murder in the legal sense if it had personhood, right? If it was a person with like, well, I guess then moral consideration. It depends. Legal stuff is weird because it like stems out of philosophy, but I think even if you granted like a fetus personhood, then I think it would be murder. Because murder is just the killing of a human being. I guess you'd have to like humanhood, personhood is the same thing. Why if I kill a pregnant chick I get double homicide though? That shit's racist. What is it? What? And usually it's because it's like the I think it comes, I actually think that even that question, because people always ask about that, I think even that comes down to moral consideration. The person who's carrying that child probably wants that child and has moral consideration for that child. Therefore, like, we grant it, like, in that sense, like, if you kill, like, somebody has moral consideration for that child growing inside the woman's womb. So if you kill a pregnant woman, because that child was already wanted in the world, I think that's, like, part of the difference is, like, that, like, that child is directly wanted, therefore it's considered double homicide, which I don't even know if I agree with it being called double homicide. I'm just saying I think that might be the justification for calling it that. Oh yeah, I still don't like your definition of capitalism. We're not going back to capitalism, communism, okay? I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that debate again. I've had it too many times in the last month, and I'm not doing it again. Fuck out of here with the capitalism. If I have to have one more conversation about communism, socialism, capitalism, I'm gonna dirt nap myself, okay? I'm gonna put myself in a permanent dirt nap. Why I think it's murder? If I hypothetically punch a woman in the stomach and she miscarries, should it only count as an assault charge? Personally, I would think so. I don't know if that's maybe like an unpopular view though, but that's how I would view it, because I don't know if like, if I don't want to consider it, like, if I consider abortion okay, then I don't know if I can consider, but again, I think for the people who would consider it, it's like comes down to that moral consideration thing. There is moral consideration for a wanted fetus, and because that child was wanted and was like being planted, brought into this world by the person carrying it and by like other people around that person, then that's why it would be considered like. But I think especially like if you punch a woman in the stomach and she miscarries. Also, I would say past 5 months, I would call it murder. But that's because I think past 5 months, like a fetus develops enough of like a conscious experience that I would grant it moral consideration. But it's a weird line to draw. That's a very weird line to draw. Let's see, what the fuck? Murder is illegal killing of human being. I thought it was the unjustified killing of a human being. Murder's got a couple of different definitions. Like there's like the legal version of murder, but I think like maybe the general use version of murder is like the unjustified taking of a life or something like that. Do you support Israel? No, not really. I'm pro-Palestine person, so I don't know. There's a controversial topic. I'm about to get heat. I might get heat from somebody. I feel like a lot of my fan base leans right, so maybe I shouldn't say that one out loud. That actually, you know what? I don't care. You guys can hate me. That wouldn't be murder, maybe manslaughter, negligent homicide. Oh yeah, collusion. Good point, collusion. Smarter than I am. So if someone wants it, then it's not okay. That sounds so fucked. Yeah, you're not wanted. I mean, kind of. Because, like, again, it's like the moral consideration, I think, for that. I'm not saying that that's not my argument. I'm just playing devil's advocate on that, like, of what someone might argue why, like, one thing would be considered, like, why abortion would be okay, but why, like, punching a pregnant woman wouldn't be. Like, killing a pregnant woman's baby who, like, wanted to have that child. I don't agree with that because I don't think either should be considered murder. But I'm just trying to give examples of why someone might think it, but I don't agree with it. Implies person is linked to someone else's consideration, which no, yeah, sorry, I should have made that clear. That's not actually my position. I'm just saying that could be the position of someone who believes that. I still don't like your definition. You're in denial. Okay, we're not going back on this topic. We're just gonna fundamentally disagree on this one, buddy. I'm sorry. I'm not doing the capitalism communism thing again. Yeah, fucking lib. I don't care. Call me a lib. Bro, chill. It's not that deep. I'm a tiny creator on the internet. No one cares what I think. So some abortion is murder, not all, but obviously, but some. Yeah, but I think there's like a certain point. Like it's always like that thing. It's like when do we grant it personhood and when do we grant it moral consideration? And I think somewhere around the 5-month mark is probably where that cuts off. But I think everyone's gonna have a different definition for that, and that's where you kind of get into like the nitty gritty of like. When is abortion okay and not okay? But don't we know so little about consciousness to draw a line? I think consciousness, like the idea of consciousness is like some experience with like external inputs and pressures, and I think we have done some, like when can they react to things? It's so nitpicky, I think, blah, 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 yeah. See, abortion's like a hard thing to, like, it's a really hard thing to draw a line on. I know there was like reasons. I remember reading a couple of studies about like fetus development, and like 5 months is when they like typically say consciousness like starts to develop, or like sense of consciousness, something like that. And so I was like, that's probably a good cutoff line. Like I said, I'm not gonna like, I won't take a strong stance. Like I'll always be pro-abortion. I don't take a strong stance on where I think the cutoff should be. I probably would say definitely nothing past the second trimester. Just because obviously you're at like the 7, 8, 9 mark, and it's like almost like, oh, you know what? Viability is another big one. Like something is viable usually around the 6-month mark outside the womb. So I think like viability is probably also part of that, of like the consciousness and the viability outside the womb. Anyway. If you have a video or something on that, I'd love to see it. Not gonna lie, understandable if you don't know one offhand. Yeah, there's probably, I should probably find links to all this stuff. This is not where I planned the stream to go tonight, so I'm not prepared. Abortion is like a bad deed to prevent a greater DMG. I don't know what DMG is. Oh, greater damage? I would agree with that. Usually it's like the whole idea behind abortion is like the outcomes of like having the child and raising the child, or like everything that comes with the child, is probably a lot worse than like not just having the abortion straight. It's like one of those things, like would it be okay to kill a serial killer if you know you're gonna save like 10 lives kind of thing? It's like a murder's always gonna be bad, but is it like okay to like just then commit a murder because it would save a bunch of people? Not that it's the same thing, but I think that's like the kind of the idea of like there's a lot of stuff that comes with having a kid. Fucking, I'm not, bro. Wait, what? As for no, wait, I invented chill. I don't know what what is happening. Are you good? Anyway, as for Israel versus Palestine, if both groups have been where they are for more than say 2 generations, it should be stuck as negotiated peacefully with both nations. I agree. I'm pro like 2-state solution. I think that's probably the best one because I don't want to kick either group out of that area now, because like most people have been there for too long. It'd be really shitty to kick either group out into like this and just say like this isn't your country anymore. But I think my issue is like the encroachment of Israel continuing onto Palestinian land, and the um, Israel pauses itself as if this is like an equal fight when it's clearly not. When Palestine has like way less like fighting capacity, like where to the point that like they're just being absolutely demolished by Israel most of the time. Um, which you can say like Hamas is bad and all that, and I would agree. Like Hamas isn't a good group, but when you have like stuff like the IDF who like can like, oh god, I don't want to break this. That is like way worse. I think, or not way worse. Sorry, way more like military heavy and like has way more ability to do way more damage to a lot more people. Then I think like you can complain about Hamas all you want as a terrorist group, but like you've got to look at like what it's a reaction to. Yeah. Anyway, that's where I stand. um. I mean, that's the whole thing of like aborting kids with like mental disabilities is like a very heavy conversation, because if someone like, not that it would ever like it's okay, because I think it's kind of a eugenics argument, but maybe like I don't know, you'd have to argue like eugenics is always bad and like that's a whole other conversation. But like if you don't have the capacity to care for that child in the long term, right? Like having a child who has like special needs or has like mental disabilities is going to cost a lot more money. And is also going to be a big burden on the parents to have to take care of a child who's going to need extra support. And if you don't have the facilities to do that, would it be ethical to bring that child into a world where you know they're going to suffer like immensely because you don't have the capacity to take care of them? And not that like, and again, this isn't an argument for or against, but just like it's something to think about when even making that argument. This is so biased, I can't even take it seriously. Oh god. Oh god, the chat is just devolving. It's devolving. Hi, Preacher! How's it going? Every stream I do lately, this is what happens. I guess this is like the thing. Like when I first started streaming, there was always like maybe 1 or 2 people in chat like talking with me for so long. And like for the last like 3 months, there's always like 5 or 6 people all chatting in stream, and it's always like people are fighting back and forth, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. I'm getting better at managing. It's just, I think it's even the small amount of growth when you're trying to like manage like learning how to stream is like the small little bit of growth. Like even having just a few more people in chat, and you're like, there's too many people, I can't manage this. And I don't think any of my mods are up tonight, so it's all me. Let's see, I may or may not be writing a book where that kind of concept is covered, but I started writing it before I knew what a Palestine was. Oh! Like the idea of like encroaching on someone else's land? I mean, if you don't see the irony in that, I can't help you. Wait, bias are damaged goods, I think it's... So, I don't... Wait. What is with... Oh my god! Hi, Psychologist! This is a bad time to raid. Everyone's talking about... Oh god. Oh god. Okay, anyway. Jesus Christ, this is a terrible time to read. If it's essentially brain dead, sure. Otherwise, if it's conscious, no. I love having a line harder than my attraction for Jesus. Ebzarn, chill! Oh my god. Oh my god, I can't manage chat tonight. I'm too sleepy for this. I'm so tired. I didn't think things were gonna get... Hi guys, how's it going? Whew. Good time. We were just supposed to go over the bill. We were gonna go over a bill, and we got so derailed. Simple questions. Sort of the idea of both groups having a real history in the location, seeing it as not their home. Oh, seeing it as their home. Yeah, but that's why you need like that's why I think the 2-state solution is like the one that you have to go with, because you can't kick either group, because there's like innocent people on both sides of that. What do you want to derail to, Brady? Oh my god. There's innocent groups on both sides, right? Like there's like people who are just living and existing in Israel and Palestine, and it's not on them for like the greater conflict that is taking place. But at the same time, with the way Israel is treating Palestine, something has to be done, and there needs to be hard lines drawn about territories, and then there has to be hard contracts that are stuck to that say that you cannot, oh my god, there's water all over my desk, that you will not encroach on these territories past this time, right? And I think that's like the problem is like people keep saying like, oh, Israel's trying to give deals to Palestine. It's like you're actively trying to give deals to Palestine as you're encroaching on more territory and saying like whatever we're on, we're gonna take. Like that's kind of where it's at right now, and that's the issue. I will derail you back to the original topic. Oh, thank you. Fantastic. Fucking Ed, what do you want to derail to? Jesus Christ. Everyone pick a topic. We're gonna do all of them then. If I were to meme it, I'd say if you want some hetero fuck, don't be in a red state. Wait, what? Wait, if you just want to like education system. Oh, do you want to come on? Do you want to talk about the education system on stream? Get in here, Ed. Oh wait, what's my Discord? Wait, hold on. Are you still up? Are you gonna be up for a while? You want to come on and talk about it? You want to chat about that? I feel like we have very different views on this sometimes. Education system? Which parts? Oh god, I have so many criticisms. Just derailing all over the place. Derail train wreck. Anyways. Okay, so so we went over the bill a little bit. And the most contentious parts of it was the lack of exception for saving the life of the mother. So the issue was, for everyone who's new here, because obviously a bunch of people just joined in, the new Tennessee bill is one of the strictest abortion bans that have gone in. It was one of the trigger laws and it finally got passed on August 25th, I believe. Let me just double check that. Ban to take effect August 25th. So yeah, I think it has taken effect now. But basically it makes no exception for rape or incest, and it also makes no exception in the bill for the protection of a mother's life. So the big issue with this is obviously like, if a physician has to perform an abortion to save the mother's life, it is technically considered criminal, and there's not actually there's no exception in the bill for it, but there's a defense for it in the bill, which means that there's no exception to do this thing under the law. However, if you get criminally charged as a physician and go to court, you can use the defense that is laid out in the bill as a defense. I don't have enough legal expertise, but I'm almost pretty sure derail red hair. It's orange IRL. It's still red in videos. I don't know why. It's actually like, can I show this on stream? I am ginger now, but it's just very dark. Like, see, it's orange, but you can't see it because my room is so fucking dark. But I am ginger now. There you go. Hey, you can see it. I'm ginger. I am ginger. It's just very dark on the stream. So, me and Brady are officially twins. Blood sisters, as some may call it. Anyway, fuck, what was I talking about? Derail red hair. Oh my god. How far is too far for memes after someone passes? What are your thoughts? Oh god. Are we getting into the queen talk? That was actually my second topic of the night. Okay, let me finish this and then we'll go into the queen stuff and I will answer that question. Anyway, just so everyone's aware, because this is not something I want to heavily analyze, but I think it's good to be aware of like what laws are passing. But so basically this bill, what it's doing is not leaving an exception, because most bills will say there's an exception for if a physician wants to save the mother's life. However, this bill does not make that exception. It says that this is still criminal and you can be charged for any abortion, but as a physician, if you did it to save the mother's life and you get criminally charged, there is this defense in the law that says like, if you get charged, this is your, like, if you can prove that you were trying to save the mother's life, then you will be let off and this is a defense for it. The problem with this though is you have to like prove it, obviously. But secondly, it just means that like there's no burden of proof on the prosecution to say that you did this and like you were acting in bad faith in your medical practice, instead of having the prosecution have to prove that they were acting in bad faith. The defense now has to prove that they were acting in good faith. So it's a reverse burden of proof is what it seems like. That's what I'm getting out of this. So like instead of like, you know, in like most courts, you know, someone gets charged and then the prosecution has to like prove that they did the thing that they're charged with. But instead, in this case, the person has to prove that they didn't do, or they didn't act in a certain way, so they can automatically be charged once they've performed an abortion. So it's just, it's a whole thing. It's not good. It's not great. Yeah, so that's it for that case. Just so everyone's caught up. We went over it very deep in the beginning of the stream, but I figured once everyone's here, I would fill everyone in. This bill also has no exception for rape or incest, just so we're all clear. So my advice is stay the fuck out of Tennessee. And if you're in Tennessee, get the fuck out of Tennessee. Because this ain't it. Okay, back to the chat, because y'all are wild and out here. How far is too far for memes after someone's passed? Honestly, I'm gonna say it. I don't care, because I have had a lot of people die in my life, and we are making jokes the next day because sometimes it's the only way you can deal with it. Also, if it's not someone you know, if it's a big figure, celebrity type person, I don't really care. Like, sure, it's sad for the people directly around them, but also it's like, I'm okay with it. I don't care. I'm not like super moralistic about the like memeing on somebody's death. It's like, okay, it's not the best thing to do. It's not great. We shouldn't laugh at people dying. But if you want to make like stupid memes out of it, like I think the Princess Diana ones, like where like the minute like the Queen hits the afterlife and Princess Diana is just waiting for her, I think they're kind of funny. I think it's fine. I think it's just like, if they're good jokes, then it's okay. But if it's just bad jokes, then I'm like, oh, whatever. You know? It's like, depends on like how good your humor. It's like you can make racist, you're allowed to make racist jokes, but they have to actually be funny. It's like kind of the same rule here. It's like you can make dark jokes, but you have to actually be funny. That's my stance on it. I think the American education system is just fine as is. Oh god, yeah. Twinsies. Draw me something. What am I drawing you? Your favorite Pokemon. Ooh. You're gonna hate me for this one. I only know like 5 Pokemon. I don't know a lot of Pokemon. Me and my friends used to play this game where someone would like look at a drawing of a Pokemon and they would have to like describe it out loud and we'd all have to try to like draw it and then like show our drawings at the end, and I was so bad at it because I don't know many Pokemon. I know like 6. Like I loved Pikachu as a little kid because my friends played Pokemon, and my like best friend, he gave me this little Pikachu card when I was like in grade 4, and we were best friends, and he's like, I want you to have this, and it was so cute, and I still have that Pikachu card somewhere, and it's from like 2007, and it's really cute. But past that, I know like 8 Pokemon, yeah, maybe 8 Pokemon. So, I know Muck, because for obvious meme reasons. The little Bellsprout guy, he's cute. I don't know what he's called. He looks like a Bellsprout. I know the main ones like Charizard, Squirtle, and Bulbasaur. You know what? The new Pokemons that came out, the fucking Lechonk. They named a fucking Pokemon Lechonk, and it was so fucking cute. That one's good. I don't know how to draw it though, because I don't know what any of them look like off the top of my head. Well, I do, but like not enough to draw it. So legally, basically shifts the burden of proof to the doctors to prove that they did. Yeah, pretty much. That's the thing. Is like it's a reverse burden of proof or a reverse onus, I believe. That's what it seems like. Oh, good night, I'm Zaron. Rex confirmed offline and online races. You're absolutely right, Brady. I am. I really hope that my stream never blows up, because if anyone ever clips me saying how many times where I'm just like, yeah, I'm racist, like, I'm gonna get fucked. I'm not actually, but I will say it a lot. Jesus Christ. I gotta stop saying stuff like that. I'm gonna get fucked one day. Well, good and bad jokes is kind of subjective. Yeah, but there's jokes that like the majority of people laugh at, and then there's jokes that where you say them and everyone just kind of looks at you. If like most people around you are laughing at it, I'm okay with it. You know what I mean? If I laugh at it, if you say a racist joke in front of me and I laugh, it's fine. If you don't draw a Magikarp, I'll be disappointed. I didn't even think of that. Why didn't I think of that? Are we gonna try this? I don't even have a piece of paper near me. Do I? What do I have? Oh, I do have a piece of paper. I have this. Oh god. Okay, I'm gonna try to draw while I read chat. This is gonna be terrible. I As long as it's just strictly for the most part reading, writing, and math, it's all good so far as funding. Excuse me. That is way overdue for being redone. Currently, the way it's funded, excuse me, it does not allow for equal opportunity. I agree. The states in Canada are very hard to like talk about education because we're so okay. Now I just have the hiccups actually, because we're very different. Because you guys are all like we're government funded, so all of our schools get the same amount of funding, and you can apply for grants for more funding depending on like what district you're in or like what school you're teaching at, like what's your socioeconomic student like status of like students that go to your school. Like you can apply for different things, but I think every school can. It's just usually like there's a lot more grants that are targeted towards like that would help low socioeconomic schools. Whereas in the States, everything's done through a lot more is done through property taxes. I don't know if you get any money from government, but I know most of it's done through property taxes for local schools, which creates a really, really tiered system, which kind of sucks. Oh, derail. Stigma around sex ed and why it's important or not important. How to be racist in 22. Just say the Rings of Power show is bad. No, I think you're okay. I still haven't watched it, but once I watch it, I feel like I'm gonna because everyone I've talked to, everyone who's watched it, and my dad is a very, very like, a conservative person. B, he doesn't like when things are like remade or like just updated to like old stuff that he loves, and he's a big Lord of the Rings fan, and he's a very harsh critic on like movies and stuff. And my dad still liked it, so I'm gonna be hesitant with your opinions, okay? Anyway. Stigma around sex ed. Oh god. Hello?
Important.
Why are you cutting out? What is your audio?
I don't know. Give me a sec.
Why is your audio always like this? Okay, there we go. I'm just gonna turn it all the way up. Hello?
Pull up to the Sri Lanka.
Okay, you're still quiet. I'm just gonna pause my music and then I'm gonna pull you up louder. Okay. There we go. That's better. Can everyone hear her? Let me know in the chat if you guys can hear her. Say something.
Hello?
Okay, yeah, you're not peeking too much. You're good. I'm gonna draw. I need to draw a Magikarp. God damn it! Now I gotta look it up. Magikarp.
Magic? You can't. Wait, you gotta look up Magikarp?
Fuck off. Okay, I don't know what the fuck it looks like. Someone asked me to draw Pokemon, and I was like, I don't know Pokemons. I don't know them off the top of my head. Oh god, this is already so bad. Oh my god, he just looks like he has dick-sucking lips. This is terrible already.
I mean, doesn't he? I don't think you're making a mistake.
That's true. Oh shit. Okay, that's a little wrong.
I just remember not liking battling them in the water areas.
Were they just exceptionally hard, or?
No, they're just boring.
Oh.
And there's just a lot. You know, like when you go in like the grass areas and it's always like the same stuff.
No, because I didn't play Pokemon.
What?
I didn't. I watched the show. I just never really played. I didn't even watch the show that much. I watched it when it was on TV, but I didn't like watch it religiously. It was like one of the only shows I didn't watch. I don't know. I didn't watch a lot of Pokemon.
Interesting.
And it's funny because I watched a lot of other like anime stuff, and so you would think that it would be like normal to like just also watch Pokemon, but I didn't. So there you go. Fun fact about me: I sucked ass as a child because I didn't watch Pokemon.
I borrowed my my cousin's Game Boy, and I would play it.
So bad. This is so bad. What the fuck is this thing? Okay, it's a monstrosity, but there you go. I drew Magikarp. It's done. It's so ugly.
Actually, not bad. It looks pretty good.
I mean, it looks like Magikarp. It's just really ugly.
What's happening?
I had to draw Magikarp because someone asked me to draw it. Well, yeah. Anyway.
It kind of looks like a combination of like, you know, like rainbow fish.
Oh, yeah.
Where is it?
Oh, Rams is quiet now. What the fuck is wrong with my audio levels?
Oh, let me be louder.
No, you're fine. I'm just going to turn you up.
Oh, okay.
You're fine. Say something.
Something.
Okay, yeah, you're good now. Okay, cool.
Now, where's his Magikarp?
Did you not see it? Okay, I'll bring it back up on stream 1 second. There he is. It's not the worst thing I've ever drawn. Sorry, guys, we had to slightly derail stream there.
No, that's fine. That's all right.
It's alright.
Like if you look at
Um,
the Pokemon game.
Hmm.
this is a weird statement considering your name. Wait, why is it a weird statement? What's wrong with that? Wait, is Bonfire? I hope Bonfire is in your community. I don't like when my community crosses over with Ed's, because my community is much more intense and scary, and Ed's community is so nice. You guys are all sweethearts from Ed's community, and then my community is a bunch of shitheads. So every time they interact, it's like my community is just like fighting with everyone, and Ed's community, Ed will come in and raid, and all his people are like self-care, mental health, like, and they're just so nice. I feel bad every time they come into my like chat.
Oh my god.
Let's see. There are some arguments made that similar issues with police as well as with the funding being based on location, not general number. Is that true? Are police based on like location? Are they funded by like local taxes? I guess that makes sense actually, maybe. Because again, in Canada, it's not the case. Like a lot of your stuff is much more likely to be funded locally than at the state level. I think.
It's just if like the cities decide they don't want RCMP or want like their own. So
Yeah.
like Metro Vancouver, you know how.
But we
like,
have the option to have the RCMP, which is like government funded.
Like we don't we it'll take more to have our own like police unit.
Defund the police. Stop paying taxes.
Stop fucking making more police
just stop.
departments.
Just don't pay taxes. That is not financial advice.
It is.
We did not.
No, it's life advice. Defund the police.
Cities, I'm on the side that we just need RCMP and we're good. You know, like we have one federal police force and that's it.
Yeah,
No.
I would agree with that, but I think there should be like a federal run police force, but I think it should be locally like
Oversight for like
yeah, there needs to be like some type of like localization of like each community, right? So like if you're from a certain place, you should be working in that certain place, or you're working within your communities, and there should be branches that like kind of run themselves within each community.
I agree with that.
Because we were even talking about this a little while ago of how like in the RCMP in Canada, like a lot of times, like if you apply into the RCMP, you end up working all over Canada or different places. But it's like you're not attached to the communities you're working in, so you don't have like the same investment in the outcomes of your community. Whereas like if you actually got placed back, like if you're like let's say working like you're from Winnipeg, you should get placed back in Winnipeg because you care about the outcomes of that community because you're part of that community. So it makes more sense to place you back, but it's just not how it's done because I think they want you to get more experience. And I also think they don't want you to have that bias towards like people you know. But I think it's better to like have like an investment in the. There's just a magic curve on my screen. Some investment in like what happens.
It should be you get placed around for like a year or two and then you come back.
Yeah, I'd be okay with that. Yeah.
Yeah, so that you can like know how to handle different situations. Because like a small town is not gonna have the same kind of crime and same kind of like situations on the day to day, right? So you want like if by them like going to like different places, they can like know what to do if they experience like I don't know like a murder. Like, you know, sometimes we never experience that.
That's true. I mean, in that case, we should send all of them to Winnipeg because I think it's like the murder capital of Canada or something. I don't know. I think there's a lot of like murders in Winnipeg. I could be wrong about that.
Yeah, something like that. There's a lot of crime there.
There's too much crime for a place called Winnipeg.
Right?
You should just type in the most dangerous cities in Canada.
Okay, most dangerous cities.
See, like, dangerous in Canada is like the bottom of the list in the US.
Probably. Well, because our populations are so spread out. You can't even, like, if you want to kill somebody in fucking Saskatoon, you have to walk 80 miles.
Yeah.
Like, come on. Oh, yeah. Well, there's Winnipeg, number 13, I think. Thompson, Manitoba. What is North Battleford, Saskatchewan?
What is that?
Why is there so many, why is there so much violence there?
Saskatchewan where the stabbings are right now?
Yeah. I don't know. Everyone's stabbed. We got fucking like people killing each other with machetes and knives and stabbing the fuck out of people. Like Canada's like, you don't got guns, but people are like out here killing people with machetes. Machetes. There was a machete killer.
This one, my mom.
Yeah.
Like why? What is
Bass
happening?
Pro Shop is too readily available, you know?
Not for real.
I would like to go to the big, massive pyramid, though.
Wait,
Bass
what's wrong
Pro
with
Shop.
what is the 16th Amendment? Wait, why was it the worst mistake? 16th Amendment. What was it about? Oh, Congress shall have the power to lay and collect taxes on income for whatever source derived. Oh, was this because of the World War II? Oh yeah, fuck yeah. I would agree with this.
Wait, hold on.
Fuck
You should
income
talk
tax. World War
about
II is where income tax came from, and that's what the 16th Amendment was for.
Yeah. Why did we follow suit?
We were also part of World War II.
So.
Whatever. Fuck World War II.
Yeah.
How did like Germany being Nazis turn into like us having to pay a big chunk of our salary for the rest of our lives?
Right.
Thanks, Germany.
It wasn't supposed to be forever.
Terrible. That's what they always say. It's always like, it's not gonna be forever, it's just till the end of the war. And guess what? The war ended. Oh, I'm still fucking paying income tax, bro.
First thing was World War One. Oops. Oh.
Even on my Twitch money, I gotta pay income tax.
Bro, oh my god, we found out today, like, our friend pays 30% tax on her parking permit.
Oh yeah. No, our friend she goes to university and we were like all comparing because we all go to university now, and you at your place pay the lease, which is nice, and it's like a good amount. And even my place, I pay $10 for a day's worth of parking. It's not bad. And for a parking permit at my school is around $200, and your school it's $150 for
$190.
Yeah, for a whole semester. It's about $200 for either of us at our schools. At her school, she's paying $1,000 for a parking pass.
But that's 8 months, so it's $500 per month or per semester.
That's still more than double what we pay for.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Mine's $6. If I went to buy a parking pass every semester, it'd be probably under $600.
So in Metro Vancouver, they charge a parking tax, which is 24% of whatever.
Garbage. That's actual garbage. That's terrible.
Okay, so how they do it is tax 3 times. So you pay your $700, right? And then it's $100 and something for that parking tax. But that before then there's GST, and then on top of the parking tax, the GST on top of that parking tax as well. So
what is happening? I can't.
It's an earthquake.
Okay. I'm just trying to get my camera closer to my body, so I'm not just in the tiny corner of my screen. Is it?
Yeah.
Is it like this? Am I tilted? I can't tell.
Not really.
Is it straight?
I think you're good.
It's been bugging me this whole
the person on the screen isn't straight, but you're
Damn. Anyways.
But yeah, it's crazy how she has to pay 30% of $1,000. Bro.
Fucked up. In the US, there's a bunch of varieties to structure and payment, but the numbers can fluctuate using that method, I said. There's fair balance. They want to keep you in place. Wait, but at the same time, they don't want you acting biased to the people too much because you know them. Yeah, no. Oh, okay, I know what that's a reference to now. Yeah, I agree with that. But I think I think having an investment in your community outcomes is probably more important than the small amount of bias that might come out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Because there might be some bias, but that might also be good because police officers are allowed to have discretion when they're interacting with citizens. So if you have bias because let's say these kids from high school, or they're your neighbors' kids, know they might have good intentions, they might not be the worst people in the world. You might give them a little bit more leeway, and that might actually set them on a better path because you don't actually just send them back in cuffs on the first sight you see them. Whereas if you don't have the same investment, you might just assume the worst in everyone in that community because you don't have any connections to that community.
Well, like, we vilify people, like, especially if you're not from the area, you don't know them. So they're just like a bad person in your eyes. You don't have any like connection to them, so.
Yeah. No, I think like having some community investment is important.
I think we could have a really solid police like force in Canada, but they'll be fucking it up, so.
Ours isn't. It's not like the worst. There's definitely
worse. But I think
we've all seen the States.
But I think we have like a pretty decent one.
Yeah.
Comparatively.
I was just talking about this. I'm taking a mental health or mental disorders and criminal justice class like right now. And even my prof was saying he's like Canada's a lot better than the States. But he's like the best place for criminals is Germany.
Germany.
Why am I yawning so much? Yeah, because he's like the prisons there are so nice. Apparently, he worked in them. He's like the prisons there are so beautiful.
Isn't there a lot of European country prisons?
Not all of them though.
Isn't like was it Switzerland or something?
Switzerland and Finland and Germany apparently are all pretty nice. But he was specifically said he like worked in the German ones, and he's like the prisons are really nice. Like the conditions are actually really good. Versus like when I worked in the ones in Canada, it was just like even the high security ones are scary, like or not good. Anyway, back to the Queen. So, how are we feeling about the people like kind of making fun or like poking jokes at her death?
Great.
Oh, I feel like she's done a lot. Like just that whole institution has done so much that it's justified. And it's okay.
I just described the whole notion of like whenever somebody passes, no matter what, it's always a sad thing. It's not.
It's not always a sad
Definitely
thing.
not.
I still don't agree with like. I don't agree in relishing. Like I'm okay with the jokes and the memes and all that. I don't agree in like relishing in someone's death because not for any reason that's like moral, but I think it's just like for me it's like a karma thing. Like I'm never gonna like take pleasure in somebody else's death because for me it just seems like bad juju on me. So I'll never like be like, oh, I'm glad she's dead or like I hope she dies. Like I'll never wish death on people, and I don't like relish in people's death because I just think it's like it's bad juju on you. That's karma that's gonna come bite you in the ass. So I don't like that. But I think like the memes and stuff are all harmless and fun. But like I think I've seen some like Twitter comments that are like, I'm glad she's fucking dead. I'm like, bro, chill. You don't know her.
She's still a person.
To me,
like,
the people crying
like...
over her death and the people who are like relishing and so happy about it are the same type of people, just like on different ends of the spectrum. And I'm like, I hate both of you because you both are like way too attached to this. Like you're both have such emotional reactions to this. It's ridiculous.
It's not like hey, she wasn't a great person, but she wasn't like this terribly horrible person that if she kept living, horrible things were going to happen. She passes away, the next person takes her place, and the same shit keeps going on.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing changed. Literally nothing changes with her death.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing is like because like you had a chance to change the monarch and you didn't. So hopefully the next generation does. But like
her son's not gonna do shit.
He ain't. No, he ain't.
He's a piece of shit too.
The following generation.
He alive. I could talk shit about him. Charles a little bitch.
Yeah.
He is. I agree.
Like,
long live Diana.
I don't know. I just like I hope that the monarch starts to fall after this because I think like after like Queen Elizabeth passes, like who's gonna really care? Like everyone knows Queen Elizabeth, but no one like fucking. I don't even know what her son's name was.
Charles.
I know Diana, and that's it. Like,
I think people want like Prince William and Kate to ascend to the throne or whatever.
I didn't mean to drop that down so fast.
Like I think like I think they have like a lot of popularity like in pop culture and stuff that people kind of want it for them, but just as like symbols. I don't think. I mean, that's what all the.
I guess so, but even that is like I feel like it's like probably really popular in England, but I feel like even people I talk to here, like I don't know. I think most people I talk to, but maybe it's just because I talk to a lot of like maybe it's just people of color thing, but like everyone wants the monarch to fall kind of thing, like just like getting.
Well, I would be fine with the dismantling the monarchy. There's nothing. They don't really do anything, but I know people still kind of like them.
Yeah, I don't get why though, because again, like it's like there was people fucking crying at the fucking palace
I don't think
over
people
her
actually
dying,
like
and
him,
I'm
but
like,
people
bro, chill.
convince themselves that they have to like him.
No, there's
Like
like
I don't
people
think
who are like actually obsessed with the royal family,
I
unironically.
don't know how many people
Like
are out
all
there
of
on like day to
England.
day are like keeping tabs on the royal family like they're Kardashians.
Um, I don't know.
Unless,
I feel
like, unless
every-
you're like a 50-year-old like white woman, like I don't know. Yeah,
But that's what I'm thinking. Like,
yeah.
older people, I think they are more like affected and like they think about them more.
Who?
Like older people.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Oops, my keypad turned off. But like, yeah, it was like, but even like, I saw like middle-aged people like crying like on the news over her death, and I'm like, that's super weird to me. It's like it's the same people who are like so excited, like I'm glad she's dead, like they're like horrible people, and like I'm so like people who are like way too happy or way too sad. I'm like, this is like a random person who exists in the world. Why are you so emotionally attached to this? Like, sure, if it's your family member, you're allowed to cry and get emotional or like get like whatever. But you don't know this person. Why is it such a big effect on your life that you're crying or like in a state of like pure excitement? Like that's weird to me as fuck.
My favorite video right now is a family. They're out having dinner at some place, and then the news breaks, and the grandma just starts weeping, and then the dad's just like, "Mother, you don't even know her. Why are you crying?" And it's just like, yeah,
That's funny.
like legit, to stop.
Yeah. Wanting the monarchy to fall, that's an American thing except for the media for some reason. Is it like, are you sure it's an American thing or just like a non-British thing? Like where are you? I don't know where you're from by on fire. But I feel like most people I talk to in Canada just like don't care for the monarchy.
American isn't really affected.
Actually,
like Canada
wants
Australia,
the monarchy out of our system for sure.
Yeah.
Out of like our parliamentary system.
Yeah, she's still our state. Like they're still our like head of state, because Canada's still technically kind of like.
Which I don't like. I think
a lot of people come from backgrounds that were affected by British colonialism. Yeah, those are the people that are like, yo, fuck the monarch and blah blah blah. Rightfully so, but like, I don't think it's necessarily an American thing.
Yeah, it's easy to laugh because their family's so far from us. It feels like our jokes can't hurt them. Probably. But like, I think I'm also someone like I can speak from a place of someone who's like dealt with like a lot of death in my life. Of people around me, and it's like I've made jokes like my family would make jokes. Michelle, I'm echoing.
You're echoing. Oh no.
Your mic be whack.
Oh no,
You good now?
Okay, I think it's okay, yeah.
Okay.
I think making jokes out of death is okay. I don't think it's like that bad of a thing. Just like don't relish in somebody's death. But I think it's okay to like, use humor to like make light of a tragic situation, whatever, of someone dying. I think it's weird how obsessed the U.S. media is with the royals, though. Yeah, no, that's fair. It's like there's literally no reason.
But that's the U.S. media. They're gonna cling on to anything they can. And there's not much going to the U.S. right now. Like it's recent. Like the U.S. like for like something impactful happening in the U.S. has like a 2-week lifespan, and nothing in the last like 2 weeks has been as impactful as this.
Yeah. The idea of the monarchy is romantic. The execution, the actual royal people, boring as fuck. Kind of true.
See now, if they start putting like cameras around them and shit, and start filming them and shit, maybe.
That's the thing. I either want like a reality show, or I want some like Bridgerton-esque
yeah,
stuff. I want to see crazy
it's really
balls.
just the Kardashians without like all the content.
Yeah, right. Like I want to see some crazy ass balls with some Kardashian level drama.
I want to see the queen behind the media's eyes when she's just yelling slurs. She old. She did it.
Well, I was watching
but damn.
Prince Charles's address about his mother's death, like the Queen's death. He was like, she was affectionate, loving. I know for a fact that she was actually ice cold towards him.
Damn.
Like, yeah,
people
it's like
always fucking lie when people die. I swear to God, I've been to a few, like, more than a handful of funerals in my life, and I will hear people talking about the person who died, and I'm like, bitch, you were shit talking this person last week, and I know I know damn well that you do not like this man, but now because Grandpa's dead, you gonna say some nice ass shit, but it's like, you all fucking hated him like 2 weeks ago, I swear to fucking God.
No, but like, actually, like, she was probably like the least affectionate to him, because that was like her successor, right? So she gotta die for him to ascend to the throne. her favorite is fucking Prince Andrew, but he's a fucking part of the Epstein thing.
Yeah.
See, and again,
Okay.
like that's the other thing is like they protected people like that. They protected people like Andrew. They treated Megan terribly, and she did nothing to step in there. Like the whole family's just fucked. Like if people want to like make jokes about it because like you guys are all shithead people, like fine. Like you've brought that on yourself. Your family's been shit to like every fucking major country in history. You still haven't repented for any of the shit that like your family has like done in the past. You continue to profit all the shit that you've done in the past without any idea of like possibly, you know, suggesting any type of reparation. Give India back its crown jewel. Just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now it's like you still continue to act like shitheads to this day when like one of your like fucking nephews or whatever his like fucking Andrew whatever his name is, fucking was like molesting girls or whatever.
With the whole crown jewel thing, I'm like, yeah, I don't think it's they're ever gonna give it back. I would at least want to admit it's stolen.
True, right? Like, can we just admit that shit was stolen?
Like at least tell the truth, bro.
Yeah.
Ideally, yeah, give it back, but like I don't ever see that happening. But let's keep lying about it.
I think that's like the shitty part is like you know that like there's no even recognition of like the stuff you've done. Like at least if you like went and said like, yeah, we know that we like fucked over all these countries, like a lot of the Israel Palestine stuff, Pakistan, India, a lot of like the turmoil in like South African countries and stolen like wealth out of those countries. Like these are all things that like the British that are caused by the British monarch.
Yeah, Africa
so, like,
and like South Asia still are affected by all that.
Well, India, Pakistan, Israel, Palestine, and
even Iran.
Yeah, and big chunks of Africa all like are still suffering to this day because of what the monarch did, and it's like there's no recognition from like the royal family or the queen, who is very well aware of like all of these proceedings, who is very very involved in all these proceedings at certain times in her life. Like I know damn well know what the fuck happened. You know what I mean?
And that's the thing. We're in our early 20s, and in our lifetime, they haven't really done anything wrong, but we've had like
in our parents' lifetime,
all the time they haven't done anything right.
Or our grandparents, or probably our grandparents' lifetime at least.
Yeah. But it's like they had so much time to do something right.
Yeah.
And they didn't do it, and that's why it's just like kind of like fuck them, because that's what by not doing anything, that's what they're telling us.
Yeah.
Go fuck yourself.
Well, that's the thing. Like my great grandma. My great grandma only died.
What they're doing, like the whole thing is to be impartial, and they don't like they just support their government and whoever's in. What am I trying to say? Like who's ever in power at the time, they just support them quietly, even if they disagree. Like they don't say anything. They're not supposed to say anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But hey.
Honestly, they're literally like the definition of moral support. Like that's all they do.
Yeah. But like for me, it's like my great grandma passed away when I was 16, so about 6 years ago. And she like walked the India-Pakistan divide when that whole thing went down. So like even in my lifetime, I knew people who like were affected by like what the British monarch did. So it's not like it was like you know hundreds of years ago. Like this was like in the last 100 years or less. You know what I mean? It's like damn. The way I found out was funny because I started seeing memes of my name Charles becoming a king, and I was very confused. That's kind of funny. I think it's mutual destruction thing. Like it. Never insult, joke, and then complain if you get the same energy back. But if it's a more personal thing, making jokes to get through it is a other thing common to get through. Yeah, I guess. But like when you're a public figure, you're also like kind of just subject to like the treatment. Like if you're gonna be a public figure and your whole life is public, then when like things happen and they go public, you gotta expect people to react in whatever way they want. Which sucks. And like I said, I don't agree with relishing in someone's death or like being happy about someone dying. But, like, jokes and memes, I think, are fine. I think those are, like, yeah. I don't know. That's kind of where I stand on it. Just the only tweets that really weirded me out was, like, all the tweets that were, like, very excited. And, like, there was a couple, like, I know there's, like, some big professors from, like, state universities who, like, tweeted some stuff. And everyone's like, hey, yo, you're a fucking professor. And they're, like, talking about, like, how good it is that the queen died. Like, that's a little unprofessional.
Also, I'll say, like... And this isn't for the queen, but like anybody dying at what? She was 94.
Yeah,
95,
96.
whatever. Yeah, it's just like how sad is that really?
Yeah, right? Like, that's the thing. She's
94,
like
that's a
96.
long life,
She lived a
right?
long, healthy life.
Like death is gonna be sad no matter what, but like it's not like someone who died young or whatever. Blah blah blah.
Yeah. I like when I go to funerals, if like the person was old and lived like a long, happy, like full life, I don't usually cry at their funerals the same way. But like
Yeah,
I've known people in my life who like died at like in their 20s to 40s, and like those funerals are the ones that are sad because they didn't get to like live their
those
whole
are
life.
there's some tragedy to that.
Yeah. Whereas like like my grandparents who like lived a long, happy life and like had a fulfilling life and did everything they want and they like lived to a good old age, like at that point like I don't want to cry. I want to celebrate your life and like be happy that you lived. But like I won't cry at your death now because like I think that like it was your time to go and you went out like, in a good way because you got to live that full life. So it's like it's not that same level of like sadness. Like it's sad you're sad because they're gone out of your life and you won't be able to see them anymore, but I'm not sad about your death necessarily, if that makes sense.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. Like my friend's death.
Hmm.
That was tragic.
Yeah, exactly. My aunt or my uncle who got stabbed to death, and then my aunt who like died from like the terminal illness. It's like those ones are like those ones fucking got me.
Like,
Um,
my friend was like 24. And like, I thought about all the things that we talked about that she was going to do. Like, she was going to learn how to drive. She was going to like do all these things, travel more and stuff, and finally figure out like what she wanted to do with her life. And then it just like stopped. It just ended. Like she couldn't do it.
that's sad. Yeah, that's
Right?
hard. Yeah, it's like when like people haven't gotten that chance. Like, it was my aunt. Like she had two young sons. Like they were 10 and 7, I think, when
Oh
she
yeah.
passed. No, they must have been a little older. I think they were 13 and 10. When she passed, and like it was so sad because like you never got to see like your kids go to high school. Like you didn't get to see them grow up. You
Mhm.
didn't get to see them get married, have like grandkids. Um, like all this type of stuff that like she missed out in her life, and she don't like she died at like right as she turned like right after she turned 40.
Yeah,
So
40
just
so
like
young.
damn, that's sad. Or like my uncle Tech, I think he got killed when he was like 32 or something like that. Like he wasn't that old. No, he might have been older.
Well,
He might have been in his
yeah.
40s actually. He might have been like 42. But even still, again, like
Yeah.
he just like he got fucking like he never got to get married. He never got to fall in love and stuff like that. Because I think his
That
ex
actually
girlfriend
gets
stabbed
me
him.
because my friend, she'd been in so many horrible relationships, and I
Oh,
wanted, and like, yeah, I just was like hoping so bad for her to like one day get that love, because she was like, so to the point where she was like flinches when somebody's like a little too loud, like,
dang.
Yeah, it was so sad. And then another death, which is super tragic, is like, Vin, his dad, getting stabbed by crazy fucking Susan in
Mm-hmm.
front of the house.
She was crazy.
That was.
Um,
She
it
stabbed him because he was spending too much time with his son.
that's fucking wild.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, to chat, fixing the problems of the previous generation. That's what the new generation is for. The context for the time period in which things happened, it wasn't immoral. I would blame the British monarchy for the inaction now, not what they're. No, I think taking over and like colonizing countries was always bad because like we say things weren't bad because like at the time like oh like we like if you say that like racism wasn't considered bad at the time it's because like they didn't consider them human. The difference is like I think people knew colonization like this exploitation was probably pretty bad. It was just the fact that like they did it any like I feel like there's some like deliberate actually even with the racism thing like but there's like they'll always make justifications but they knew it was immoral. You can't sit there and say you can't tell me that like they didn't know what they were doing was wrong or that it wasn't like terrible to the people that they did it to.
And now that it's like come out that yeah, maybe that wasn't a great idea, and you
Yeah,
have the chance to, you can't ever 100% reverse what's happened, but
but
you
some
can, try to make things better, and you decide
or
not to.
get some like recognition for it. Like if she like acknowledged the fact that like the India Pakistan stuff like how much conflict came out of like with the British like being involved in that region and how many like people suffered and how many lives were lost because of that, but they'll never address that or like a lot of like the stuff that happened after with like um oh god what was the temple that got like absolutely obliterated with all the people inside by the British, not the Khalistani thing but like way before that. There was like a temple where like there was people praying, and the British just went in and like massacred them.
Massacred. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. But there was that, like, and it's like these things like need to be addressed, and I don't think they ever have been by like the royal family or like anyone, you know, in the British royal family. I drink for all of you to have long, fulfilling lives. That's nice.
Aww.
That's sweet. We appreciate you, Magikarp. Atheists believing in the sins of the ancestors is pretty cringe, as it's more of a religious-based take. Wait, why? It's not that we like believe in the sins of your ancestors. It's just that like when bad things have happened to like a group of people, and those like the bad things that were done continue to affect generations past, or future generations, then there should be some acknowledgement for those things that have happened. To say
if you're
that,
reaping
like,
the benefits from those sins and
yes.
then knowing their sins, right? It's like
you're
it's like
benefiting
using
off
blood
of,
diamonds, right?
yeah.
It's like when someone gets like diamonds, and you know where those diamonds came from, and it's looked down. But it's just kind of the same thing, where it's like you know where your wealth and everything came from, and you know all the hurt that was done for your family to reach that level, and you're still just kind of ignoring it.
The queen wears that damn crown, like that crown with the crown jewel. The Cordino Noor is like on that crown, and she wore it like all the time, and she still didn't acknowledge that. Like, you were like reaping the benefit. And it's not like and it's not like it was like ancestors. Queen Elizabeth was in power, or not in power, but she was part of like the negotiations at the time. Mm-hmm. She had influence on the things that happened when like British were in India, or when they were in with their
the region of Punjab and all that.
Like all the stuff in India, and same with the Israel-Palestine thing. Like, she was like, you know, she had power at the time. It's not like she was completely separated from them. It's not like she was a child when any of this happened. Like, it wasn't her ancestors. It was like she was part of it. So it's like, and then there was no accountability for that. And then she reaped the benefits for the rest of her life until she died. So to me, it's not even like we talk about like, oh, it's the sins of the ancestors. No, it's fucking her. And even if it was like any generation past her, it would be like her parents, not her ancestors. Change is now complaining about the past is a virtue signal. It is not. It's not complaining about the past. It's like wanting some recognition for like the hardships.
You could say the exact same thing to her. You could be like, change is now, make change, but she decided not to. Yeah. Like, that's all we're saying is that the monarchs decide not to do anything, even though right now you can do stuff, and they decide not to.
Oh my god, thanks, Foxy. Oh god, that's all. Thank you. That was my second raid of the night. Oh my god, thank you so much. Hi.
That's a horrible subject to get rated on.
God damn. Hi guys. Okay. Oh god, it's a weird conversation to come in on. Okay. Yeah, I think like okay, I'm getting so flustered now. There's so many people. Hi guys. You can hear that's weird doing boring WoW play. Okay, that's okay. Hey, you know what? If any of your WoW players are into politics, okay? Are you naturally this red? No. Like, wait, my hair? No, my hair's dyed.
It's orange.
It's orange now. It still looks red on camera. I don't know. I'm a ginger now, but it was red like 2 weeks ago. Oh my god, now I'm like freaking out. Anyway, we were talking about politics, the queen, all that stuff. Oh, Jesus Christ.
It's just like there's so many people.
There's so many people. Oh, welcome, guys. Hi. Anyway.
Introverts' worst nightmare.
Yeah, literally. The panic. Thank you, Foxy. Anyway, yeah, I think it wasn't Preacher. Who was that? Beldrain, who's still here? If you're still here, I think it's like the whole idea is like you should have to take some accountability as as a institution that caused that much harm in like multiple regions of the world that are now still suffering because of that harm, and you are still reaping the benefits of that harm. You're living in like multi-billion-dollar palaces, and like you have no regard for like any of the things that your family did. Actually, no, not even the things your family did. The things that you fucking did. It's not like I said, Queen Elizabeth wasn't fucking removed from all this shit. She was part of the force, or part of like the power structure that like was involved in like what is it, like ruling these areas, like when the British were involved in India and Pakistan, or when they were involved in the Israel-Palestine stuff, or even parts of parts of Africa, specifically I think South Africa was like the big one where they exploited wealth from a ton. I'm too high for this law. Have a good night. Thanks for hanging out. Jesus. Yeah, so that's I think that's my big thing with like the queen is like I said, don't relish in her death because I don't think that's a good thing. I don't I don't like being happy about people's death. I don't think that's good. But like the memes and jokes, it's like, man, you were a shitty person all your life. You were a shitty. You defended your fucking what was it? Is it her son? Is Andrew her son or her nephew?
Yeah, her son.
Wait, what?
Her son.
Oh, okay, yeah. Anyway, you defended your fucking son, who's a piece of shit. Anyway, it's not like you're
And
a good person later in your life.
With all of that and everything, it's like when people are like, "Oh, she was a great person," this and that and that. Wait, are you sure? Really?
I mean, I'm sure she did good things here and there, but doesn't everyone? But then, like, the bad things that they've done, it's like to countries, to massive amounts of people.
Yeah, I'll say like this. It's like still celebrating like the monarchs and everything. It's kind of like when you see a conservative flag. It's like, yeah, it might mean something else down, blah blah blah, but there's still so much history and everything, and there's so much hurt, and
You're
people
talking about the
love to
Confederate
ignore
flag.
that a lot.
It's still current. It's not like the past, you know? Like, they have current consequences, like the things that, like, the family, like, right now have done.
Wait, Brian, so are you talking about the Confederate flag or the conservative flag?
He's a Confederate. He meant Confederate.
Confederate,
Oh, okay.
yeah. My bad.
Oh, good. Yeah. Anyway, oh god, those were the big topics for the night. We can go back to the education stuff too. Oh wait, Rams, did you hear about the? Oh no, never mind. That's separate. That was never mind. Oh god, we were on like we jumped around from topic to topic tonight. There was all the education stuff that we wanted to talk about too. I think Preacher was in on that with the property tax stuff. Do you think what do you think is the best way to do you think that the state should just like get rid of the property tax like based education system, or do you think there should be some type of mix? Because I don't know if I like the idea of like completely getting rid of the property tax. I feel like giving in from your community into your like schooling system is probably good, but also there has to be some level of like base funding for education.
Like, the houses have like way different values in areas, right?
Yeah.
So of course, like in that, like the valuation of the homes will influence your taxes, and then that influences your funding. So yeah, I agree. Like having a higher, probably like a higher base funding, and then.
Oh no, the socialists got Magikarp, man. Don't follow the Magikarp. Socialism is not the way, I promise. Okay, we've got better options here. I think this was like a big discussion we had in our I took an education class last semester, and it was like a big discussion of like how should like resources and money be allocated. But it's not usually about just like straight funding is like one thing, but like if that money isn't getting placed in the right place or like into the right things, it doesn't really matter how much money you throw at an issue. And I know this is a huge issue in like I think New York was one of the big places where they saw like low economic areas of New York, like Democrats threw and you know this is gonna sound super anti-democrat or Democrat of me, but whatever. But the Democrats threw so much money at like low socioeconomic areas, and like all of that money just like fucking disappeared because like the improvement of like materials or conditions for any students in those schools was like minimal. I think they got like a new set of textbooks or something, or like maybe some new supplies, but like there was nothing like substantial done. And it's like, how do we throw this much money at a problem and like still nothing has changed? Like nothing got better. I think that's like sorry, we're going back to like a way earlier topic that I'm now coming back to. Jesus. What was I yeah, I don't know. What do you think money should be spent on in schools? Either of you or anyone in chat. Cuz I think for me like the biggest thing right now is what I've seen is like food programs and after school programs. I think are like the biggest places we could be spending money. After school tutoring and like food programs. Because with low socioeconomic areas, you have so many students who don't have access to like basic needs, basic necessities like food. If you're not getting like if your child isn't getting like 2 meals a day, they're not gonna
Yeah.
learn. They're not gonna learn shit. And that's like the biggest thing I've noticed. Like low socioeconomic kids, they're coming to school with like no, they haven't had breakfast and they don't get any weed, food, and sex. What the fuck, Magikarp? Yeah, I missed this topic. Okay, I thought you were in on this topic. Anyway,
I mean, food, correct. The other two, I don't know so much about.
I thought you were talking to me for a second. I was like, what are you talking about? I only provided
No.
food. Um,
After school programs are like at least like you know how like a lot of schools around here have daycare
yeah.
after school. Yeah, I think that's great because like you know some kids just can't. There's no parent at home or no adult at home, so having like those few extra hours,
I think
like
when it
having
comes
like
to reducing like crime and likelihood of like young people getting involved in like criminal activity, having just like general after school daycare and after school programs is good. But I think if we want to like actually increase the conditions of like student outcomes, in terms of like learning and education, I think those after school programs should be targeted at like tutoring or like extra support and help.
well like
Um,
we had that time. I mean I don't know about your guys' schools, but we had that at my elementary school.
oh, did you?
Yeah.
Damn. Were you
It
you
was
were in
just
Oh
like
Toronto
no,
for
we
your
haven't.
elementary school, right?
for that one, it was just like peer to peer. So like older students who were selected by teachers would
Okay.
like do it after school,
Wait, I zoned out. Do what?
After
like
school
peer
tutoring.
tutor pretty much.
See.
And I think they did get paid like a little bit, like a little bit.
Ooh,
Yeah.
good. Early working too. Child labor.
Child labor, but I mean it's like oh, you get to tutor the kids a little bit, right?
Yeah. Um, security with firearms. I'd say armed security should be a priority in all schools because police have been proven to be useless. Wait, I have a question. How many like school shootings actually happen for this to be like a? Because also you got to remember that security in schools might be a good thing in preventing like mass shootings or something. But like, how does it affect the general like behavior or like feelings of students who have to deal with it every day? Because if every day before you go into school you're walking through like one of those fucking like security things where they like buzz you down just to see if
Metal
like
detector.
pardon?
Metal detector. It's
Yeah,
like a
metal
metal
fucking
detector
thank
and
you.
was searched and
I
all
was
that.
yeah right. Like if you're doing that every day at school, that's not a place that you like feel safe and secure at. Like that, it doesn't feel like a place that like feels warm and that you feel like is a good learning environment. I think that's like the biggest issue with like I find with like a bunch of those like security tactics is like fix the issues that are causing the school shootings.
Yeah.
Don't punish the students who like actually want to come here to learn and have a good learning environment because like if that's the environment you're walking into every day, you're gonna like walk in there and be like, well, like this place doesn't care about me. I shouldn't care about this place. Like, and then like educational outcomes, I can imagine would probably be worse in that setting than like a setting where like students are feeling safe and like taken care of, and that it's a warm and comforting environment.
Yeah, like why should you need security like that at school?
With the whole school shooting thing, I don't think that's a what do we do different in the schools
Yeah, that's gotta be
solutions
something
for
you
the
gotta
thing.
address from the outside. I think generally the budget just needs to be even out and things after school activities, food, tutoring. I think those are good areas. Yeah, I would agree. I think like the property tax is one of the biggest things in the States. In Canada, it's a little bit easier to start addressing the issues because all of the stuff is already like generally funded like pretty equally. Whereas in the States, it's like to get even to that level is like you have to like address the inequities between schools and then you can start moving from there to like what they need. Whereas like in Canada, it's like everything's already like equal, like everything's like funded equally. But now from here, it's like what can you additionally add to like make the outcomes of like students in low socioeconomic areas or like in poorer neighborhoods like have better as or as good as outcomes as like kids in like rich schools because obviously like and that's not to say that like poor kids are stupid. It's like usually just the fact that like rich kids have like supports, they have like all of their basic needs met, their parents are usually really active in their school life, their parents can advocate for them, teachers are more invested in the outcomes of those students, A because parents are more involved and B because they it sucks to say, but teachers like implicitly already believe that like students from better households are gonna do better. So I mean, there's been studies on this, but teachers will treat students from like rich schools like will be treated way better and have way more time put into them versus like teachers working at like poor schools, because you usually have kids with like more learning disabilities, you have more kids that have behavioral issues or are coming in like and just being disaffected because they like don't have their basic needs met. These teachers already see like the kids at the lowest level, and so they're catering their classes to like the lowest common denominator, which means that like even the students who could exceed in their classes are probably not, just because of the fact that like the teacher doesn't have that extra energy to put in. So
Well,
like
here,
in
like,
Canada, we can work on all of these issues just because we've already got the base level of like everyone's getting the equal funding, whereas in the States you don't even have the equal funding stuff down. Also, thank you, it's Shay, for the follow. Sorry, go ahead, Michelle. I had to get that out.
Well, there's literally like GP, right? Like there's the daycare for like the teen parents so they can go to school. Like from hearing from like my old coworkers there, they don't have any AP classes because they don't believe that any of the kids there are capable of taking AP classes. Even though I like those kids that I my coworkers, they're very smart. Like I've met people who come out of there who like go to UBC and stuff, which is like the top university, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like yeah, like their school does not believe in them. They don't have any like extra programs. They don't have anything to like boost their chances of getting into like better universities at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like imagine not having any AP classes because you think all your kids are stupid. They don't even have calculus classes.
Oh wait, really?
Yeah, no AP English, no like calculus, no honors classes. So like not even like things that like matter to like the university, like honors classes.
Dang. See, that's like
I was talking to a kid that worked at a comic shop, and he goes to, was it North Surrey? Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, no, it was. I say that because like North Surrey used to be like known as one of the better schools, but he's like it's shit now. Like kids are failing left and right. You're allowed
also
to fail classes.
Careful with naming schools.
Oh my bad. But like, well, like he was just like it's just like every year the curriculum and everything just starts getting looser and looser. And he was talking about something about like the provincials or something, and then being out of 4, and like it was just like like I don't know. They keep changing things and making things.
Anything they're like what?
They're not, but it was just like the stuff that he was saying. I was like, "Damn, this is crazy." Things just keep getting like easier and easier, and not for like I'm not saying it's a bad thing or a good thing, but it's just crazy how things change.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Okay, let's see. Going through some of the comments that I missed. An education system that develops critical thinking from a young age. I think that's a good enough start. I see this a lot more as an issue in the States again. I mean, it's getting worse in a little bit in Canada, but like I think in the States, like so much like I noticed like the type of education you guys get is very, very different. In the sense that like a lot of stuff is like standardized to a point that like it's like 1 + 1 = 2 and don't think anything past that. Like a lot of your information is just like delivered to you instead of like focusing on like that questioning and the development of your own skills of like learning how to learn, not what to learn kind of thing. Whereas like I think a lot of like the Canadian, or at least in like our province, like a lot of the education is more like learner centered and working on like having a student develop their own learning a little bit more. Very liberal province, obviously. I generally, the budget just needs to be even out. Oh, okay, wait, we read that one. In before security official does a shooting, Jesus. I didn't say anything about, I didn't see anything about metal detectors. That's an environment detractor. Wait, then what do you mean by armed security? Like you want like security guards with guns on campus? I think that's even worse. Parental education is another good one. Might be a good follow-up for sex ed.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. Oh no, you're gonna get into a fight with Preacher about this. Rich kids have less things to worry about. Teachers and parents are more involved and also tend to be able to pursue side passions as well as they're able to focus on their schooling. Yeah, that's true. That's the thing is like just by virtue of being well off, you have so many things you don't have to worry about compared to other people. And like
yeah, like your next meal isn't your biggest worry, you know?
Or if like your last meal was like the breakfast program meal you got in school yesterday and you haven't eaten lunch, dinner, or breakfast today, and now you're just waiting for lunch to come, like you're not focusing on anything that teacher is teaching. You're just waiting for like lunch to hit so you can get your lunch program food that day, right? And like that's all that like, but like And that's like and you wouldn't expect anything else from a kid who's in that position because you're like, that kid is like, what do you, if you're that like hungry because you haven't eaten in over 24 hours and you're like sitting in class, you don't fucking care about what that teacher's thinking or like teaching. You're just like, I need a fucking meal. Like, I'm fucking hungry. Like, you're 5 years, 6, you're 7 years old and all you can think about is like that next meal you're getting. And it's like, damn. And that's why like a lot,
Just think about if you go to like a morning class and you skip breakfast or something. You're fucking mad.
Being hangry is a real thing.
It is. It truly is. It's like when your body is lacking like nutrition or just like it just your whole like it's just natural. Like your whole body is like just focused on trying to get that food.
King Charles gonna die soon. Did y'all see his Butterfingers a sign of cognitive heart failure? I'm gonna give him less than 3 years. God damn.
I thought he was gonna die before his mom, bro. I thought he would never
actually thought that a little bit too. How old is he? Bro, I saw a photo of him today and he literally looks like who's the king that just died before him? He literally looks the same.
Phillips?
Oh, like
Philip. He literally looks like Prince Philip.
I mean, he is his son, so.
Yeah, but they like.
Oh, he's 73.
Wasn't Prince Philip?
He looks older. That man looks 90.
I don't remember.
Holy shit.
Yeah, no, he's 73. Which, if he died, it's kind of young, but still like old enough to be like, oh yeah.
So she was 23 when she had him, but yeah, he looks like he's like in his late 80s. He looks like he's 87.
Like, joking about death stuff, but would that be crazy? He just gets in and dies. You waited for this?
Bro, I would be suing from the afterlife. My mom lived so long that I never had a chance to be king. I'd fucking lose my mind.
Man, I don't like the Mars, but I'd even feel sad for Boy then. Like, damn.
I would, as person to person, be like, yeah, that's actually really disappointing.
Yeah. Can you imagine, like, yeah, you're from the royal family, you wait your whole life to be king, and all of a sudden you just fucking die the minute you get in?
It's just waiting. It's preparing for it. Like, for years and years and years. Your whole, like, young adult life is preparing to ascend, and then your mom just keeps living.
You have to live as a royal and follow all these rules your entire life just to never actually become king. Like, you're like, I could have been fucking bitches this whole time.
Yeah. He probably had the most... Well, he was fucking bitches Camilla, but...
Wait, unless you outright get rid of guns, you fight guns with guns. That's just how it is. Yeah, I don't think we need to outright get rid of guns. You need to address, like, in your society, the underlying issues that's causing, like, gun violence. I think that's the thing. It's like, I'm not against guns. I'm not for getting rid of all guns. I don't think it ever work in the States, even, like, practically. But, like, armed security is also... I don't know if it's going to increase your chance of, like, having, like, a school shooter being taken down. It might... It is possible. I mean, if your police did their job, we also wouldn't have that issue, but you know. Separate.
Yeah, that one case was so bad.
Make one of the qualifications be that the armed security has a child enrolled. Hiring someone who hates kids or never had them, yeah, would not do well. Oh, that's fair. Yeah, like your skin has to attend one. Yeah, can you imagine? It's like the whole thing of like, if we ever go to war, it should be like the president's kids also have to be on the front lines of battle. Like, if you're gonna fucking have a draft and all of us have to go to war, your kids are fucking going to war with us. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, if Trump was in presidency and there was a war, I better see fucking Ivanka Trump on the front lines, bro.
I was gonna say, I was like, this bitch better get her combat boots, okay?
Bro,
Yeah.
did his ex-wife die?
Can you imagine if we just had to go to war tomorrow?
Did
I don't think I can do
Trump's
that.
wife
I'm
die?
really gonna win tomorrow.
I heard something about, like, did Ivana Trump, like, Trump's ex die?
Yeah, I think she fell down the stairs.
Yeah.
I saw this the other day and I was like, how did I miss
Wasn't
this
that a
whole
while
thing?
ago?
Yeah.
When was
It's a
this?
while.
This was like a couple months ago, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Why did I just find out about this now?
Yeah.
I'm
he
the
got new
political
wife,
one
so
in the
nobody
group. What
cares about
happened? I missed that whole... What
He has another
happened?
wife, so like it's like I don't know. People didn't really care about it too much. If it was Melania, people would be like, "Oh shit!" But
Dang.
Yeah, but
That's crazy.
But yeah, she just fell down the stairs.
That seems really
tragic,
suspicious.
very
Like, she just
upsetting.
fell down the stairs and died?
they were done before.
That
he
feels sus.
became
I'm just
president,
saying.
so
I'm
it's
throwing
like,
it out
yeah.
there.
Magikarp, oh my god.
I don't know if I disagree with Magikarp. I don't have a problem with parental education. Depends on the meeting. Oh, we're gonna get back into the parental versus in school. Actually, I'm gonna pose the question to Rams and Michelle and see what they say. I think guns are kind of stupid. Why do you need to make easy for your dumbass population to hurt each other? Kind of true. Maybe if your population was smarter, because there's places in Europe where like gun ownership is really really high, but they do not have the same issues as the states. But I would also argue that the material conditions of the states are very very different to any other country in the world. So direct comparisons are hard for the states. Anyway, the question I want to pose to you that Preacher and Enzeron ended up fighting about in my Discord for like hours. Who in a child's life from age of like 0 to 18, who is the primary educator in that child's life? Like
I think the parents are, yeah.
You think so? It's not like the school,
well, okay.
School system or parents?
It's kind of split because like it's different things that people like they're teaching, right?
Yeah.
Wait, but
what
are we talking about? What are we talking about? Wait.
Where do you get the gist of your education in your lifetime?
When we're talking about education, are we talking about like just academically, or are we talking about just like raising a child?
I would say academically, because we're talking about like specifically like
I mean,
like raising a child is like raising a child, not just like
okay, yeah, academically. Then I say in school,
yeah,
because like I was saying earlier, it's like different things that you learn from like your parents versus school.
Because I would say like the first like 5 years of your life, but we're arguing like who should be teaching sex ed to kids. Parents or
like
the school
the
system.
biology, so it belongs in the school as well. Like, okay, there will be different aspects that they can talk about, but like to get to the nitty gritty of it, like the actual biology part, that's the school. You can ask like of the school, right?
Yeah.
As far as like things, I think ideally like that, like it would be great if parents would or could, but it's very unlikely that like all the parents would. So like, there should be something within school that will teach kids the gist of it.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Like I think parents can be like, oh, like safe sex, like wrap it up, all that stuff. But then I don't expect them to do like the
pee after sex,
like the actual like scientific aspects of it. You know, like,
well, even stuff like that. It's like I feel like
who would you want to teach you that? Because for me,
like I feel like I could maybe, but then I could be in school for like X amount of years. I don't know what I'm talking about.
For me, it's like I don't think I would want that conversation with my parents, right? But if it's a school with like 29 other kids in the classroom, it's like I don't know, for some reason that's just less weird. It kind of takes a taboo out of it a bit.
Well, it's just science. It's just
yeah.
I don't know. Like, don't be asking me about history. I'm not teaching my kid about history because I don't know shit.
Belgian, I want to say that the controversy absolutely has been about whether, only until recent years has it been about when it should be done. But before that, a lot of parents advocated that sex ed shouldn't be taught in school. A, because it would make kids more promiscuous. It's like, oh, if you talk about sex in school, they're gonna want to go out and have sex. And two, they wanted to like be able to like control what sex education like their kids got. There was absolutely most of the the debate was whether like teachers should be teaching sex ed or not.
So what do you think it should be like in the beginning of a school year of like whatever school, like whatever age they deem?
I think around the age of puberty. I would say like around the age of like 10 to 12 is probably where you should start.
Yeah.
Right? Like you're gonna start puberty. Like girls need to have like some understanding of like what's going on with their bodies. Guys should have an understanding of what's going on in their bodies, like and how to manage those things. Like I think that should be like when it starts.
Right.
You think in the start of like that school, like say like grade 7, right? You're like 12 or whatever,
yeah,
right? You think in the beginning of that school year, the parents should be able to say like check out a box yes or no if they want their kid to have that talk.
They already do that.
They do that?
They do that, but I disagree with it. I don't think you should be able to opt your child out of like education that they're getting in school. If you're putting your kid, if your kid's in private school, go fucking right ahead. You're paying for that education. You get to decide what your kid learns. If you are in public school, your kid's in public school, they should have to learn the public school education. I don't think you should have to because A, it puts a huge burden on teachers to have to find other options for that child, and B, you're taking away things that the government, our state has basically said this is what the baseline requirements are for students in our system. should be learning, and like for you to be able to like as a parent just be like, well, I don't think like I think you guys are wrong, and I don't think my kid needs to hear like to learn this. I don't think that's a good like I don't think because like what if a parent comes in like they're super Christian, they're like I don't want my kid learning about like evolution. We would never allow that for like this like for right like I had sex ed in 5th. Yeah, I feel like that's not like a bad age. Like you're 11.
When did we have? I
I
feel
definitely
like
had
it
my
was
first.
high school.
No, my first one was in grade 4 when we were like learning about
Yeah.
like puberty and stuff.
Or
Like, because a
well,
lot of
I
girls
started
were
my
already starting to
period.
develop at that point. So like they
Maybe I
like
just
just
really didn't pay attention in class.
you might
I
have.
started my period in 5th grade ish. So
I started
seems
in
about right.
7th, but I know like the first like some of the first girls like because a lot of girls do start in 5th grade. We got our first one session like first like sex ed session in like grade 4 about like early puberty and all that type of stuff.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Like I said, 4th, 5th. Like, I don't think you should opt out, be able to opt out. They do currently. I don't know about now, but when back in the day when we were learning about
There's
it, they
still
did.
places you can definitely opt out. I think in the States it's probably even more common, but even in Canada, I think there's places you can opt out.
Yeah, you know that. I remember like looking at it. I was like, I'm not gonna fucking. I'm gonna give it a parent because I'm shit.
Yeah. But like I think even I know teachers and it's like there's like probably things that even like younger ages like I know like I have people who are teachers in my life and people who taught kindergarten and they would have conversations with their students about like, you know, your body is your own, you know, set boundaries with people. If someone touches you in a way you don't like, you need to tell a trusted adult. And like it wasn't anything further than that. It wasn't this whole thing of like no big anatomy lessons, but it's like, you know, these are like, you know, you need to set boundaries about your body and where people can touch you. And if people touch you in a way that you don't like, you need to tell a trusted adult. And it's like even that is like the base, like the very earliest stages of sex ed. And like they were doing that in kindergarten. And I was like, you know what, that's good because like when you're 5, you can still get like being molested. And these kids and teaching kids to like be advocates for themselves and say like I don't like this person touching me or I don't think you should be touching me there, and having kids know about that is probably good for them because if they go into their future and they like, you know, something happens and they know to tell a trusted adult that something happened to them. So like I don't know, I think it's like this whole idea of like just teaching things at the right stage for sure. But I think it's probably good to keep in the education system.
To be open about it because like if you're not, they won't know shit and they just get a bunch of curious pregnant children.
Oh no, we had a grade 6.
Wait, preacher, hold on. So it sounds like they agree with me for the most part. Primary care as parents ideally should be parents. Sex should be taught by parents to at least some degree, and kids can do better when parents are involved in kids' education. Yeah, but the issue we were having is that you were saying like, because your idea, because even Ram said was like in an ideal world parents would do it, which all of us would agree. Like in an ideal world, your parents would have good comprehensive sex education. But we also all agreed up here that like, or in here, sorry, not up here, in here that like, parents probably aren't going to do that. So
Not
you're gonna,
up north.
yeah, up here in Canada, we all kind of said like it's very unlikely that parents are ever going to give you a comprehensive sex education. So it's probably better to keep like some level of like or like keep a good comprehensive sex education in schools.
That's the big.
Like, again, when I was like, oh,
Also,
is
no
this
one agreed that-
education or like just life stuff? Like, because for me, like school should be specifically about like kind of more educational stuff and blah blah blah. Because there's only so many days in the school year, and like. You know, I remember all the time being in the end of the school year and the teachers being like, yeah, we gotta rush through this stuff. So it's just like keeping adding more things in, you know, it just, you gotta just rush through certain things that you probably don't want to rush through.
Yeah. Also, Beldrain, like, I think we were saying like Michelle, like some like girls who get their period at 10, like there's girls who like get it that early, and it's like it's probably good to like have like grade 3, 4, 5 have like your first sex eds into like puberty and stuff. And again, like I know kindergarten teachers who even like have like just basic lessons on like this is like your body is your own. You know, if someone like violates like your body, like you need to tell a trusted adult. This is like you're allowed to set boundaries with your body. Like those are all like basic like talks about consent and like about your body and like sexual acts about like how like and like obviously not saying like oh you're gonna get molested as a child. Like it's like this whole thing of like you need to understand like this is your body, these are your private areas, and people are not allowed to like touch you in a way that you don't feel comfortable. And if they do, you need to be able to tell a trusted adult. Like those like And I was like, you know what? I think that's really important for kids to hear at that age because A, some of them will never hear from their parents, and B, it's a safety thing. So like to say that like, oh, it shouldn't be before the age of 10, it's like things happen before the age of 10. Unfortunately, it's a tragic thing that happens in our society, but it does happen before the age of 10.
Yeah, like hiding it is just gonna bring shame. Like if you don't address it ever, it's just gonna make it, like those kind of situations so shameful. It's gonna be so hard for people to like come out and talk about like them being violated and like stuff like that. Like it's just better to have, I feel like, to have sex and the concept of like all that stuff in the open.
Mm-hmm. My mom taught me about sex at a very young age, and I think it affected me negatively. I don't think you need to teach about sex specifically at a young age, but like sex ed encompasses a lot of things that aren't just sex, if that makes sense. It has everything to do with like your anatomy, your body parts, how your body functions, sexual reproductive organs. All that type of stuff has to do with like sex ed, or is like encompassed under sex ed. And I think like, but you don't need to be telling a 5-year-old like how to have sex, obviously. Yeah. But I feel like that's pretty intuitive about
like,
what I've been saying.
if you had a conversation about wet dreams before you had your first wet dream, you'd be a lot less confused.
Oh, true. Well, there's so many girls who freak out at their first period because they don't know why they're fucking bleeding down there.
Yeah, they don't know why they're bleeding.
I know so many girls who had that.
Having a warning before that foreign thing happens, you know, it's not a crazy thing.
That's what I'm saying. Like we should have it before, like that process.
Ideally,
starts, right?
But the only like the problem is that what is before? Like you never know, because like you said, some girl can have it at 10, some girl can have it at fucking 13. Like
some people have it like between 16 and 18. It just depends on the person. Yeah.
The question. Oh yeah, the argument was should that was the question posed to me in the Discord. Who should be doing it? And in Discord multiple times I said if parents can, then that's what schools. What parents won't do. Okay, what we're saying though, I think this is like where the issue was. Like there was a communication issue. Emzeron was asking, like, in the world that exists, knowing that there's a lot of parents who can't and won't, where should the burden lie for kids to be learning about sex ed? And it's like if we know in our current society that this either A, comprehensive, or any sex ed will ever come from like certain parents, we should have some like set level of sex ed in schools. And I think that's like the contention was like you were taking his should as like in a prescriptive world where you could like create like the best outcomes and where you could like choose who was like going to do it. Like I think there was a communication issue. I think you guys actually mostly agreed. I just think like you guys were communicating. I think you guys like interpreted that question very differently.
School just so happens to be a more controlled environment.
Yeah.
We're just leaving it up to parents. Like you don't know how it's gonna.
You also don't know if you're gonna.
And I will say, like, if you're planning on having kids, you should be planning to have that conversation or be ready to have that conversation.
Mm-hmm. Like again, the whole like peeing after sex thing. I didn't learn that until I was like 18 or something. That you're supposed to pee after sex.
Yeah, I didn't learn it. But
my parents didn't tell me that shit.
I'm like thinking about it already, like in a relationship, and I'm like you realize, oh yeah, this is how you don't get a UTI.
Yeah. There's lots of things that don't end up getting encompassed. I think because either parents don't think about it or like the topics are too intimate to talk about with your kids, or they feel too uncomfortable because it's too intimate. Which is like the only reason it's like there's things that like should just like I think there's too many parents who still consider the topic of sex too taboo to talk about with their parents. Like my mom was pretty open with me, but like most of my friends it wasn't like that.
I never heard a thing about it.
Yeah.
It's like I'll have grandkids, this like they're like whatever, but nothing more elaborate than that.
Yeah. Still on the wrong side.
It's fine. Like I learned it through school. See, like I wouldn't know if my parents would have told me. It's just awkward.
Oh damn! Your mom was a teen mom. I can't imagine that. I can't even imagine having kids now, and I'm 22. That should terrify the fuck out of me.
I used to be like a norm, like because like my grandma had her first child at like 17, and like that's the norm where she's from and back where she's from. I'm like that's crazy. 17? Hell no.
Actually, a lot of our friend group, like our parents had us a lot later, even though they're only one generation back. Like later for like their countries, right? Like
that's wild.
My mom had me, I think, when she was like, what am I, like 30, yeah, like 30 something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then her last one was like 35. I don't even know.
Jesus.
Brandon was 2000 and something. How old is he? Oh, yeah, 17.
Jeez.
I think my mom was 29 with my brother and like 32 with me. So it was like, yeah, like my parents were older. But like, I don't know. I feel like so many people I meet in our generation, other than like our friend group, or sorry, in our parents' generation, it's like they had their kids like really young, like in their early 20s. Whereas like everyone above us was different. Or like everyone above them, it was like very young. But then, except for our parents, it was like everyone else kind of had kids young. And our parents all just said, fuck it, let's just wait.
Yeah, like it's really weird. Like my mom, yeah, so I did the math. She had me when she was like 20. Wait, what was this? 26.
That still seems crazy to me.
Yeah.
4 years from now, can you imagine having a kid? Ah, homie.
Oh,
So
that's
she got
bad.
married. She got married a little early, but then she had a miscarriage, and then she had like to wait. Actually, she kept trying for about 5 years, and then yeah.
He asked me that I wait. He never asked me that. I asked him multiple times in Discord what his exact question, and I brought up that in the beginning, like the exact questioning. He took it very offensively. No, I'm saying like I think the interpretation. I think the question was like fine. I think the interpretation from both of you was like whether it was like a like prescription for like in an ideal society, or whether it was like this is how you'd want things to function right now. And I think you guys were like getting lost on that because I think just the interpretation of his question was different. Because I got what both of you were saying, but you guys aren't actually that far away in your beliefs.
That's kind of like you and Rams when you're arguing. You guys argue on the same side like all the time.
Allegedly.
I've heard some more radical people believe that parents should have no say in for some areas of education, as if the parents have no freedom to raise their child. If you put your kids in the public education system, then like you're choosing to put them in the public education system and say like, I trust the state to give my kid the education. Otherwise, fucking homeschool or send them to a private school. Sorry, but like if your government or our states have like decided like or your province or whatever wherever you live has decided that this is like the level of education your child needs in a setting to be able to like function in life, then it's probably a pretty good standard. Like how much stuff do you want to take out? It's like all the people who want to ban books and shit, or who like I want my kid taken out of science class because I don't want them to learn about evolution. It's like shut the fuck up, chill. Sorry. I hate that shit of like I don't want my kids to learn about this. You realize your kid is also an autonomous being that should be able to make like decisions about their education too. Like I don't care if you don't want your kid learning about evolution. If your child wants to like learn about basic science, then they should be able to. I don't know if like parents should have the right to like deprive their children of certain education because they don't agree with it. Your child is eventually going to grow up to be a full adult, a being, and you should not be able to like take away things because you disagree with it. Sorry, that's my more radical view. My hardcore leftist view came out there. Back to centrist me. Um, Most of the radical people are too young or not ready to be parents. They have a very biased opinion on with an extremely liberal perception. I don't know if that's well. I think a lot of people are age aren't. I think most people who have kids young aren't ready to be parents. I have a very I don't know. I don't think people think about having kids. I think like having kids is such like a normalized thing in our society. Like everyone's just expected to do it. But I don't think anyone actually thinks enough about having kids or like why they're having kids. I'll be honest.
As normalized as being like, it's a lot of people who decide to have kids or whatever don't realize how much of a selfish decision they're making.
Mm.
Because it like I don't think a lot of people actually really think about like bringing a kid into this world more than just like ooh it'd be cool to start a family.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think like it's like so expected as like you get married or you finish your school, you get married, you have kids, like as like the normal life path. Because when I tell people I'm like I don't want to have kids, people are always like, oh, you'll change your mind, and I'm like, I'm not fucking changing my mind. I don't want my own. I don't want to give birth to kids. But I'm like, that is a way less, like, that's a way smaller decision than the decision to have kids. But when people are like, oh, I want kids when I'm older, when girls say, like, oh, I want so many kids, I want so many babies, people are like, oh, that's so cute, you're gonna be such a good mom. But when I say I don't want fucking babies, they're like, oh, you're gonna change your mind. I'm like, bitch, the fuck?
Anybody who's ever been like, they want X amount of kids and it's more than 3, I'm like, how much money are you expecting to make?
Yeah, for real.
It's ridiculous.
I said I'm like, I'll adopt or I'll foster, but like, I just don't want to give birth. That sounds like an awful process. I definitely thought it was normal to have kids before 25. I stressed about it till a couple years ago. Yeah, see, that's the thing. It's like there's so much like pressure to like, because it's like normalized.
I agree. I was
also
a
depend on where you're
child.
from,
I thought I
'cause
was gonna have a fucking. I was gonna have baby by like 18. Like I thought 18 was like a great age.
Damn.
Wait, how old were you when you thought that?
No, just like when you're like in like elementary school, you have no idea
Yeah.
what the fuck like how old like 18 is. Like you think it's so old, so far away. It's not.
Mm-hmm.
True. Now we're like well past
I thought,
18.
yeah,
You're looking
I
back,
like-
you're like, what the
Let me
fuck?
have like 2 kids by 20, bro.
I think parenting is such an odd thing because there's no set formula and it's both necessary but at the same time completely optional. Yeah, it's necessary for broader society if you want society to continue, but like on an individual level, it's completely optional. Also the whole thing of like, yeah, because people are always like, oh, like we want to save the future generation. I'm like, the only reason that we want to keep repopulating, because everyone thinks like the whole like, oh, like the like Elon Musk is always talking about like the depopulation and stuff like that, or like all these like big like billionaire guys are always like, oh, like we're losing like populations and stuff, or like fucking right wingers who are all on about the like the far alt right people are always like, oh, the population is dying, and it's like, we don't care about population dying because we care about the existence of the human race. The only reason you should care about the population dying is because when you start to get old, there won't be enough young generations to take over the jobs to be able to actually take care of you. That's the reason we care about the depopulation. Sorry, everyone gets that issue wrong so much. It bugs me because no one understands why we like care about depopulation.
My whole thing with that is like
Leftist and right.
I guess the whole thing is, yeah, it's like, okay, less people, less workers, less like, people paying for retirement funds and all that stuff. But don't we have like just like a massive amount of like homeless people and stuff like that? Like I don't know. I feel like it's just, I don't know how to connect that, but it feels like a weird thing to complain about.
What, like depopulation?
Yeah.
Because as time goes on, so think about it. If like everyone starts aging and your like young population is very, very minimal, all the jobs
I get how it works. I get how it works, but I just feel like, isn't there like a big portion of people who are just like, aren't working right now, and it's just like, if we focus more on that, it'll work itself out.
No, because that's only like like right now. That's like that'll be like, but again, those people will also age, and a lot of our homeless population is older too.
Yeah.
Your homeless population isn't usually like in their teens and 20s. They're usually like past 30, 40.
Let's just get rid of money.
In my world, 25 would be the minimum. Oh yeah. Great replacement theory, conspiracy, total denial of reality. It's already happened. No one is just all German or all Irish, 100% anything in the U.S. unless you immigrated here. Yeah, I mean, even if you're probably from other countries, like I mean, technically India and Pakistan are different countries now, but I'm probably like both, just because like most a bunch of my family like I said, they walked through like the Pakistan divide when they came over to India. So if there's any like ethnic differences at this point, it's like I'm probably a core Pakistani.
You should take the local
Everyone's a mix of
stuff.
something.
Yeah.
And that's the end right now. Like,
but who cares? I don't understand like the insistence on like having like a race. Like if people start to die out because like there's just so much like mixing in certain countries, who cares? Like, why does it matter?
Like everyone we know is like an interracial
especially
relationship.
when you care. Unless, but especially in like the States or Canada, like why do you care? Like there's like the Europe is still mostly white, and for anyone else, it's like your country is probably still mostly whatever that is. Like if you go back to like India, like there's just straight Indian people, or if you go back to like China, there's still straight Chinese people. If you go back to Germany, there's still straight like 100% German people. But like in the States and Canada, like these are melting pot places. For people to think that they were gonna stay all white was like completely asinine. Like what a stupid thought that it would ever.
Right.
The Great Replacement, bitch! You replaced the fucking people that were here. That was the Great Replacement. So for you to get pissed that like people are like doing it again, it's like shut the fuck up, homie. I don't care. Fuck you. I hope everyone turns brown in the States.
Everyone is gonna turn brown.
Hell yeah.
We're gonna be a bunch of brown-eyed tan people in about 100 years.
Yeah.
It's an odd question. We have never been truly able to control population numbers in the positive sense, but it does well enough on its own most of the time, so you get involved early before. Yeah, actually, it seems that there's like there's no way to like incentivize people having kids, which is really interesting. They've tried like in a bunch of countries where like I think Japan, like in other places where like population is like below the rate of replacement now. They've tried so many things to try to get people to have kids, and you just
Weren't they
cannot
giving
force
this
it.
money out for getting kids?
Yeah, like
money.
you could not get people to have kids. It was not possible. So like in most places
Actually-
where like birth rates are declining, there's not really any way that you're gonna ever get like people to like you can't reverse those trends, or it's gonna be really hard. But there's like no
Why do you think
no
that
way.
is? That most people want to have kids right now.
Why they don't want
As the
kids
standard
right
of
now?
living goes up in countries and societies, you typically have people not wanting to have as many kids, and then you get to like you kind of get over to a peak point. And then like the standard of living is really good, but the cost of living is also really high. It incentivizes people having kids because they don't think there's any necessity for it. Just because you're in a place where like you don't require kids, because like a lot of times in like places where like the conditions of your living are way worse, you need kids to either help out with things and you need kids to take care of you when you're older. In a society like ours, you don't require either of those things. You don't need kids to tend to the farm, and you don't need kids to take care of you when you get old. So like there's not the same like necessity on like having kids.
Because like they always say like, oh, if you're more educated, people you tend to have kids later. But now it's just like it's just too expensive.
Yeah, it's expensive and there's no incentivization for it, right?
It's like you get like a little bit of money from the government when you have kids, but that's just all based on your income.
Give it about 2,000 years or more, and race will be a lot harder to outright identify. Yeah, exactly.
2,000 years, homie.
At least, especially like in America and Canada, any places that are like mixed places, you're gonna have that. Whereas like, I don't know, in like Scandinavian countries or like like Asian countries and stuff, there's gonna be some mixing, but you probably actually maybe even in 2,000 years there might not even those like your lines will blend and change, right?
I don't know.
What happens if like the borders of a country change? Like what happens if like two of the like I don't know, like Bangladesh and like another country around there like formed into one, and all those like people like start to mix, and it's like would you just have a whole new ethnic population because like the state the name of the state changed? I don't know. It's like weird. I don't care. If populations die out, populations die out. Does it really matter in like the long like? Sure, it sucks. You lose history, you lose culture, but like as time goes on, like these things are just bound to happen. You can try to preserve it for the sake of history, but like what? Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. I was saying like new things come out of it too, and like
Yeah.
like the mixing becomes its own culture.
But just ingredients for cocktails.
I love that.
I love me.
Um,
Some pina coladas.
I don't have enough time as it is for myself. Fuck them kids. Honestly, true, bro. I'm like so scared because I'm like, I'm definitely going through the adoption process. Like if I ever have kids or like I'd foster, but like if I do adoption, it's like it's so much longer. So like I already know it's like I'm gonna have to plan that way more.
I want to foster the infinite amount of children.
Yeah, there you go.
See, being a guy, it's like a 5-minute process, and then time skip 9 months, and you're there. But like, I get in your guys' position where you're just like you gotta hold that thing. That's a lot of time
Wait for what?
for having a baby.
Oh,
I feel like for guys, it's just like a lot less of a
burden.
yeah, and you don't think about it like that.
Yeah. Well, that's why I don't want to have like my own. Like I don't want to give birth to babies or anything, just because it seems like that's a big amount of time, and like so many
Chunk of
things
your
can go
life.
wrong. And then if like anything like goes wrong down there. Like that's the healing process I've seen. Okay, I've seen like so many fucking moms on Instagram always posting about their fucking like all 3 holes ripped together. I'm like, bitch, no.
How easy is it to opt out for a C-section?
You can't opt out.
You can't. It's just
no. You
like,
can choose to have a C-section.
No. You can choose to opt in. Like, if you want a C-section, but if you need a C-section,
oh no, yeah, that's what.
I think that's what Rams meant. He's like, how can you opt into it? Yeah, you can easily do it. But like again, even with C-section, there's so many things that can go wrong, and like the surgery and the scar, and then to like have that like apparently that has a lot of issues with it too, and so it's like all of it is just is.
Fun fact. Most people in Vietnam, most women in Vietnam have C-sections because it costs, like, you have to pay the doctor more.
Dang.
And they brainwash them to think it's safer.
That's fucked up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just get my tubes tied in like 5 years. It's fine. When I turn 25, I'll probably get my tubes tied. And I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, like you'll really, like, when it finally clicks in your head and you're fully developed, then then why not? Right?
I always learn though, never make, and this might, I'm giving this advice to chat. I think you're all above 25 though. Most of you are above 20. Literally everyone that watches me above 25. But don't make any big decisions in your life, like big decisions in your life until you're 25. I will never I have been told this by everyone over 25 in my life. Do not make big decisions, like major life-changing decisions before you're 25.
It's
so like getting my tubes tied, it's like doesn't. Yeah, sorry, say that again.
It's literally psychology and biology.
Yeah, I was like, bro, there's not even that big side effects to having your tubes tied. But I'm like, if I'm gonna do it, I'm still gonna wait till 25 to make decisions like that about my body.
Like you're already pretty certain, but you'd like.
Yeah. But you know what? Just in case, I will wait till I'm 25. Right. That's like the good golden rule. If you're gonna have kids, wait till you're 25. If you're gonna get get married, I'm like, wait till you're 25 to get married. Get like stable in your own life and like fully develop who you are before getting married. I think is good.
Yeah. Back to that fostering thing. I think it is for me is like I don't care about having my own baby. I want to impact lives. You know, like this is me, my altruistic ass. Like I want to help so many people. Nursing wasn't for me because I don't want to wipe ass, but
damn.
Let me just take in all the children, you know? All the children, you know?
You know, if you adopt a baby, you still have to wipe their ass.
I don't want to, no, I don't want to adopt nobody. They can leave when it's time to leave.
Oh, you talking about fostering, yeah.
Yeah, I'm honestly, like, I don't even want to adopt. I want to foster. Like, I want to just help people, help children, send them out in the world, and so they can be successful.
All right. We are just over 2 hours of stream, and it's almost 1 a.m. for me. Fuck. Oh my god, it's so late. I didn't realize how late it was.
Well, I have work, but it's okay.
My school just started today, and I just realized how much work I'm gonna have to do this semester. My semester's gonna be crazy, and I'm like, should I just do all of my papers on stream this semester? I didn't do it last semester because I was like still getting into the groove of streaming, and I wasn't sure if anyone was gonna watch that. Maybe I'll do all my like research for all of my like big papers on stream, and I can just write my papers on stream with you guys, so I can teach you.
So funny.
Because I'm actually really good at writing papers. My papers always come back with like A1 grades. And I'm just really good at doing like research stuff. So I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll do that on stream. Maybe we'll just go through, like I'm taking some fun classes. Like some of them are legal classes. I gotta go watch a trial for one of my classes. I actually have to go down into like the courthouse and like watch a trial and do a report on it. So should I live stream that? Actually, I don't think you're allowed to. Never mind. Just kidding.
I'm pretty sure you wouldn't be allowed to.
I'm positive you can't do that. Anyway, so I will be back hopefully.
Are you allowed to have phones in there?
I don't know. We'll look it up. I will take you with me, hopefully. Anyway, I will most likely be back Sunday night for more politics and fun debate stuff. I might get Ed and Brady back on for Sunday night. We'll see. I'll talk to them because everyone seems to like those streams. And yeah, so I have a Discord below where you can reach me and a Twitter, but I don't use it really. But you can join my Discord if you ever want to like send me articles or send me legislation or send me topics to talk about, all that stuff. And if you ever want to reach out to me, all that stuff is on my Discord. Just always use my Discord. That's the only place I'll probably get back to you ever. But yeah, you know, if you enjoyed this, follow the channel. It's been a good time. Thank you everyone for hanging out, and I think I'm gonna roll it for the night just because it's almost 1 a.m. for me and I'm dying. I was like, why am I yawning so much? And I'm like, oh, it's 1 a.m. That makes sense. And I had like 5 hours worth of lectures today. I was literally on my campus for 5 hours straight listening to people lecture, and it was just not a good time. So yeah, so anyone who enjoyed the stream, please come back if you enjoyed it. I will be back Sunday night, so hopefully I'll see some of you there.